Shalom, shalom. Whew. Hallelujah. Hey, hush. All right. Oh, man. Shabbat shalom to those. Where did Shabbat shalom? I was right. Gray shirt for the win. Oh. Oh. I see your comment, Sister Aspen. Yes, I have my gray shirt on today. Woo! I just came in from the outside, literally about 7 minutes ago. Yeah, I was late, but I wanted to get some water on my seed starts. Because tomorrow it's going to be 89 degrees, and I wanted to make sure that they had ample amounts of water. So I had to take that out, get them watered. I apologize. I was late. Continental Paratrooper, yes, I am right-handed. I am right-handed. Oh, you say he was planting seeds till dusk too. I got eaten up by some mosquitoes though. They ate me up. But yeah, out running some errands, and then came home and was working on my stovepipe for winter, and then started reseeding a couple of bad rows and then watering. And came in at 7:04, 7:05, and realized I was late again. Woo! 111. Good God. Woo! How has y'all Shabbat, week been? How has your week been? Hallelujah. Falmel Paratrooper. Oh gosh. Oh, Sister Aston, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. To the Gary Brommelin, Shabbat Shalom. Sister Aston, Shabbat Shalom, sister. Palmetto Paratrooper, Shabbat Shalom. Brother Tom Sturgill, Shabbat Shalom. Oh, let me take my socks off. Oh, brother Kentucky Wright said laying concrete block all day, every day. I actually got to do, I'm making some borders because my land's kind of at a slope. So for my gardens, I actually have to put a border on the bottom. Otherwise, after multiple rains, the soil will just wash down. So I got to build some retaining walls basically for the soil. Brother Justin Monroe, Shabbat Shalom. Brother Jay Morris, Shabbat Shalom. Brother Melvin Gray, Shabbat Shalom. Brother Ronnie, my brother, Brother Ronnie, Shabbat Shalom. Forgive me, brother. I meant to message you back, and the message is still sitting there in WhatsApp. It's still sitting there in WhatsApp, unsent. Go figure, huh? Is there a problem? Evan, is there a problem? Is something I have to address? Is something I have to address? Hurry up and get them in the house. For the J Car 3, Shabbat Shalom. For the Mark Chase, Shabbat Shalom. Kentucky Ready, greetings, greetings, greetings. Brother Daryl Vick, Shabbat Shalom. They get your email. They get your email. Yes, I did, brother. And you were talking about Ezekiel 34. I'm still rereading that verse because when it mentions David, I have two parts that I think. So I'm going through my other versions to read that verse. I have read, and that's where a lot of people believe that David is the shepherd, not Yeshua. Especially a lot of the Old Testament only type dudes. When I read that, I've read it two different ways. One, I read it where it's the seed of David. The other way I've read it is I read it and understood it that even David would know that the one shepherd is the shepherd, which is why in Psalms 23 it says, Yahweh is my shepherd, I shall not want. So either way, I know it's not talking about David, being David is the shepherd. I know it's talking or referencing Yeshua. So I'm going to email you back. Just I'll try to do it today or tonight or in the morning, brother. Whew, it's been one of those weeks. It's been one of those weeks. Be quiet, Badger. Brother Kevin Pitts, Shabbat Shalom. Sister Deborah L, Shabbat Shalom. Brother J Car 3, my brother, Shabbat Shalom. Yes, winter prep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Brother Elk Count 25, Shabbat Shalom. Nitzraim at the gate, Shabbat Shalom, brother. Shabbat Shalom. Whew. Oh, gosh. Give me 1 second. I need to make sure everything behind the scenes is all right. As you can hear, you hear the children screaming. They stay in the house yet. Let's get down. Get the one. Go. Whew. Ah. Bro, y'all sunrise. Exactly. What you said right there is where I have gotten my two interpretations in Ezekiel 34, where it says, David, my servant, or my servant David. I absolutely agree. And that's where I kind of got the idea that it's talking, maybe it's referring to that even his servant David. Let me see. Let me grab my. So I'm going to read it in my New Revised Standard Version Bible. And I got some more on that whole shepherding movement. I got some more information. We're going to hit on that shepherding movement just a tad bit, maybe 10, 15 minutes. And then we're going to hit the stream. It's actually going to be 10 or 15 minutes. Because everybody keeps running back to what Jeremiah 3:15 says. And I'm like, do people not have an understanding of the Bible? You keep referring to Jeremiah 3:15. And I will give you shepherds. Get him quiet, please. Can you get them in the house? Hey, Tootie, be quiet. Oh, fearmonger, thank you, my brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am honored. I am extremely, extremely honored. Hallelujah. Bless you, my brother. I'm grateful. Oh, I am grateful. All right, so everybody goes to Jeremiah 3:15, and I will give you shepherds. I will give you. They keep pushing that agenda more and more and more and more and more. We already talked about last week how we know Yeshua is the shepherd. But I noticed that after Jeremiah 3:15, they never go to Jeremiah 23, which is after Jeremiah 3:15, just using numbers. Jeremiah 23 starts off with, "Woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, says Yahweh. Therefore, thus says Yahweh, the Yah of Israel, concerning the shepherds who shepherd my people, it is you who have scattered my flock and have driven them away, and you have not attended to them." Right. Fearmonger. That was one of the verses I was going to go to. That was one of the verses I was going to in 2nd Esdras. It's amazing to me that people are still referring. What did I read? I know what chapter I read. It's amazing to me that people are still referring to the shepherding. And for you, my enemies, what's happening? And for you, I'm gonna call y'all shepherdites. Y'all gotta read your book. So after Jeremiah 3:15, we have Jeremiah 23, where he goes on the woe to the shepherd. Listen to this. So it is you have scattered my flocks and have driven them away, and you have not attended to them. So again, the prophet is telling the shepherds, you are the ones scattering my flocks. Look at your average church today. Look at your average church today. Who was the one scattering the flocks? So while they're saying Jeremiah 3:15, I will give you shepherds, Yah did give us shepherds who were supposed to feed us with knowledge and understanding. But instead, what they were doing was scattering the sheep. Instead, what they were doing, Ezekiel 34 talks about it, is they were killing the sheep. We were supposed to have shepherds. They were scattering, which were teachers, pastors. They were scattering the sheep. They were killing the flock. They were taking the wool. They were feeding themselves. That's what the book says. I don't understand why people keep referring back to that one verse, but don't go into the multiple witnesses, Jeremiah 23, Ezekiel 34, John chapter 10. There it is. There, Jeremiah 12, another. Many shepherds, pastors have destroyed my vineyard. It's all over the book. But they keep referring back to Jeremiah 3:15, Jeremiah 3, Jeremiah 3, because their pastor keeps saying it. Their pastor keeps saying it. The same way Israel said, we want a king. Y'all said, I'm your king. No, we want a king. All right. Then what happened? They got Saul. And Saul had to get rid. I mean, Yah had to get rid of. He had to overthrow. Well, Saul, through his disobedience, was removed as king. Then you go to chapter 4. Verse 4 says, I will raise up shepherds over them who will shepherd them, and they shall not fear any longer or be dismayed, nor shall any be missing, says Yahweh. And what happened after that? See, we have to read the book. He continually tried to raise up people, and the people kept feeding themselves. It was a continual process of the people feeding themselves, just like he gave us a law. And he continues to try and get us to understand and do the law. And it was not, we didn't do it. We would not obey. So he had to send Yeshua to fulfill it, not do away with it, but to show it could be done. It could be lived. And to allow us forgiveness for our sins. We keep throwing out this shepherding movement. I got another verse for you. Let's turn to John chapter 10. Really quickly. John 10. Oh, Brother Gary, you are hitting on something that would require some deep study. Because most people just assume church is of Yah because they see what they believe is the word church in the Bible. I would highly suggest that people do some studying, deep studying. Listen to this. Look at verse. That's exactly it, fearmonger. That's exact right there. If somebody has a shepherd, it would denote that they actually own a flock. It's the Messiah's flock. So if a person says, I'm the shepherd, that means the sheep are owned by that shepherd, which means you're not Messiah's. You're that person's. Therefore, according to what I have shown multiple times in this book, you are a servant to that man. He's your shepherd. You're the sheep. Yeshua said in John 10, he's the good shepherd. But look at this. Something interesting. Look at verse John 10. Look at this. And you know what? I'm going to use people's own words against them. Hey, they said it. We're going to use it, all right? How many times, those of you out here, how many times have you heard your pastor say, the servant is worthy of their hire? When they try to give themselves, when they try to give you the reason why they are getting offerings from the church. How many times have you heard your pastor say, the ox treadeth out the corn and the servant is worthy of their hire? How many times have you heard that? They're referring to themselves that they are the laborer. The laborer is worthy of their hire. You heard them say that. How many of you have heard them say that? The laborer is worthy of their hire. You might even have heard it from some of these major Hebrew pastors. Pot, hush. Elkan, I don't believe that the disciples were shepherding the 7 churches. I don't believe that they were shepherding in the context that we know the word shepherd. Because a person If you look at what a shepherd does, David did a good job of explaining it. And Psalms 23. Psalms 23. You heard that David said that who Yeshua was. We see in John 10, Yeshua said that he is the good shepherd. Now, a shepherd can have people that work for him. If you've ever been a shepherd, you might have people that may go out into the fields, but are they the shepherd? No, there's one shepherd. Disciples, disciple, because the Bible says the disciples were supposed to make disciples unto Yeshua, not disciples unto themselves. They were a walking example of somebody that walked with Yeshua. That's why Paul said, "Follow me as I follow Christ." What that word "follow me" actually means is imitate me as I imitate Messiah. So what the disciples were doing is they were a walking imitation of the Messiah that people could look at and say, "Oh, he walked with Messiah." But to shepherd them, to take them to the food and say, "You eat here, and you eat there, and you eat here, and you go over there and do this, and I'm going to whack you," that they didn't do that. There it is. There it is, Elcount. Maybe the correct terminology would be elders then. And you remember, they were told to make elders in every church, make elders. Today, we see that as we're shepherds. No, we're not shepherds. Yeshua, if you look at Yeshua, he said, "I will make you fishers of men," not shepherds. I will make you fishmen. Who are you fishing them for? Yeshua. A shepherd shepherds his sheep for himself. That's why Yeshua is the one shepherd. We are all sheep used for Yeshua's, Yah's benefit. But when you call that man your shepherd, you're saying, "I'm being used for your benefit." Thus, you're a servant. But you've all heard. There you go, Bird J. Morris. Herdsmen work for the shepherd. I could not think of the word. Thank you, my brother. I think we get it confused today, and we see it as, well, we are the example, or we are the shepherds. No. We're just somebody that's supposed to lead people to the master, not become masters ourselves. We lead people to the true shepherd. We don't shepherd them ourselves. We just lead them to him. That's what this book comes in. We can just simply go to people and say, "Hey, read the book." We're not reading our own words. We're reading the words of the shepherd or of Yah. But you've heard your pastor say, "The laborer or the workman is worthy of his hire," referring to themselves as a hiree, right? That's what they said. John chapter 10, verse 11. "I am the good shepherd." This is Yeshua talking. "The good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep." Okay? How is the pastor laying down his life for you if you're paying him for his hire? But let's just go to the next verse. "But the hireling," didn't your pastor just say the laborer is worthy of his hire? So if he is saying the laborer is worthy of his hire, what does that make him? According to verse 12. Anybody? If your pastor's admitting that he's worthy of his hire, wouldn't that make him a hireling? He's a laborer, therefore he's a hireling. Verse 12 says, "But the hireling and not being a shepherd, one who does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and flees. So if the laborer is being paid, he's a hireling. He cannot possibly be the shepherd, according to Yeshua's own words. Hey, downstairs. That's John chapter 10, verse 12. So there's no possible way that the hireling who is worthy of his hire, therefore he's a hireling, can be the shepherd. Yeshua said himself, but the hireling and not being a shepherd, one who does not own the sheep. If you're being paid, you don't own the sheep. You're a hireling. So you cannot possibly be the shepherd. So the book says. If you go through the rest of that chapter, it'll tell you. A hireling, the hireling does not give his life for the sheep, which is why you pay the hireling. Oh, give me 1 second. I'm looking for another verse. Oh my God, my phone is acting up. No. Oh boy, I cannot find the verse of them. Okay, I found it. I found it. Matthew chapter 26, verse 31. Now, here, this is the story of Yeshua when he tells his disciples that, he's going to be betrayed and that, whoever dips his hand in the cup with me is going to betray me. And Judas already went to we're here. And I read something very interesting. Let me see. We'll start at verse 29. But I say to you, I shall certainly not drink of this fruit of the vine from now on till the day when I drink it anew with you in the reign of my Father. And having sung a song, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Then Yeshua said to them, listen to this, all of you shall stumble in me this night, for it has been written, I shall strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 7. Now, how many times have you heard your pastor say that about himself? You strike the shepherd, and the sheep will scatter, referring that if he gets struck in some way, or people are talking about him, to scatter the sheep. You hear that reference often. Pastors always reference that. If they strike me, all of y'all are going to be scattered. Yeshua's talking about himself. Man, Brother Gary, you spitting some game right now. You have to understand that the positions of pastors, bishops, evangelists, deacons are all man-made gibberish. Woo! And that's going to require you. I know you see, any man wants to be a bishop, but any man wants to be a deacon. Here's my question. Go back to the law and the prophets. Do you see those terms? So have we ever asked ourselves where a lot of this stuff comes from? You have to look at the book. Yeshua said that when you strike the shepherd, he was referring to himself because the disciples were about to abandon him because he's being struck. When you strike the shepherd, the sheep of the flock will be scattered. He's talking about he's the shepherd being struck. His disciples are going to be scattered. Today, pastors take that and say, well, I'm the shepherd, and if they strike me, all of y'all are going to be scattered. You don't understand. They keep placing themselves under the guise of Yeshua. They keep making themselves your savior. You don't understand that. They place themselves as the shepherd, Yeshua. If he is struck, you will scatter like Yeshua. He's the mediator between you and your pastor. Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it. And it's clearly in the book, clear as day. You can read the word yourself. Many pastors, there's a couple good comments. First thing I was told when I moved to sheep country, be careful around a herdsman or shepherd with Velcro gloves. Montana, where the men are men and the sheep are scared. Woo! Woo! Brodell Vick said, many pastors under Christianity make us believe that they gave their life for their members every time they stand up and preach and teach, and we're required to take care of them. Bam! That's the guys. There's the manipulation and the mind control right there. They will make you believe that because they are building a community, which is in their name for themselves, that they have given their lives for you. Because you moved to their land and became a servant. Because you paid them their salary and the nice car they drive, you paid for it. It's so sad. That's exactly right. The Roman Catholic Church corrupted everything. And what you see in a lot of these so-called Hebrew movements, Hebrew Israelite movements, Torah movements, is just a rehashing of the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church has done an excellent job of devising a scheme to whittle their way into every single, so that when you go and you read the book for what it is. See, the Roman Catholic Church is also the same church that took out the Apocrypha out of the King James Version of the Bible. Do you not believe the Roman Catholic Church has done their damnness to try and hoodoo and voodoo the renewed covenant and make it, it's like it's its own entity, when the renewed covenant is specifically from the old covenant? But they make it as if it's its own entity. Just like people try to make out the Bible to sound like Yeshua went and undid the law. Yeshua came and he changed the law. He changed rules in the law. He didn't change any of the rules in the law. He fulfilled them. He showed you how to live them. He showed you adultery as not just going and sleeping with another man's wife. Adultery is looking at another man's wife and lusting after her in your heart. Well, that understanding shows the importance of why married women shouldn't wear head coverings then. Or unmarried women shouldn't wear head coverings then. Because if a man can commit adultery by lusting after a woman in his heart, well, then he should definitely know between the married and the unmarried women, shouldn't he? We don't. That's right, Elkan. That's right. Yes. Shalom, Mrs. Lovely Dudley. We don't have an understanding of this Bible because a lot of people, somebody said it in a comment. It was either, it might have been last stream. They said, when the pastor's teaching, make sure you look behind his words, because sometimes they will post a verse and intentionally leave out words in the verse. We don't understand. People don't have an understanding of this stuff. They just don't. And they think that they're going to church and they're serving the Lord. And what you're doing is you're doing man service. You're serving a man. It's about time somebody told you that. Woo! Hoodoo voodoo. I'm going to butcher this word. Santeria is simply a mixture of the African dark art of Polo, Mayumbi, and Roman Catholicism. Wow. Now, Brother Gary, I didn't know that. So, hey, you just taught me something. Oh, well, now that makes sense. It's all adding up. All this stuff is just to get inside of your mind, brothers and sisters, because once they control the mind, the body follows. Once they control the mind, your checkbook follows. Once they control the mind, they have power over you. That's it. They don't have to whip you. One of the greatest tactics that the slave master used was, I was doing some studying on old slavery tactics. I saw something very interesting that slave masters used to do. So let's say a slave master had slaves that were rebelling against his rule. We're talking about when, the Hebrew people being enslaved in this country, America. So what two masters would do, let's say one master is, I don't want to use A, and one master is B. What Master A would do to try and convince his slaves that they had it good is he would send his slaves for a period of time, certain groups of them, the rebellious ones. He would send the slaves, the rebellious ones, to Master B. Now, Master B was an oppressive master, intentionally. He was harsh. He would beat his slaves for no reason. He wouldn't feed them. He'd make them work, long hours and, 12 hours out there in the field, 14 hours out there in the field, 16 hours out there in the field. The slaves would be dropping dead. But there's a plan. See, once the slaves from Master A went to Master B and saw that Master B was harsh, Master B, after a certain period of time, would return the slaves back to Master A. And when they went back to Master A and they were realizing, well, here we're not working for 14, 16 hours a day. We're working for 10 hours a day. Here, we actually get fed. Here, we get to grow at least some crops. Here, our master gave us one day a year as a holiday. Here, master gave us Christmas off. Here, when they saw that, they thought they had it good at Master A's house. Meanwhile, Master A and B were in on it. They were in on it together. So they went from a place where they were rebelling to a harsher place where they were being beaten and deprived of their natural daily things. And then after enough period of time, when they saw how bad it was at Master B's place, he would return them back to Master A, and that need and want to rebel was gone because they felt, man, we have it good here. We have it good here. Master B was treating us like shit, but Master A at least gives us food every single day. Look, he gives me a row in his garden where I can grow some collard greens. Look, Master A, when he's done with the pig, at least threw the chitlins out to us. Master B didn't even feed us for a couple days. Mind control. Mind control. And that's exactly what we have today. Today, a lot of these so-called Hebrew leaders take you out of Roman Catholicism, called Westernized Christianity. And they act like they're rescuing you from something. And all they do is bring you into a new form of Christendom. A new form of westernized Christendom. It's just got fringes on and head covering and beards. And they make you feel like you're big and tough and a man because they put a gun in your hand. And they tell you that you're the special people and you're the set apart people and you're living it right. And they go through the Bible and they read 75% of it to you. The other 25%, And you think you've been rescued from something. You think that you've been freed from manipulation and deception. Nah, you didn't. You're not free. You're not free. It was all part of the ploy. Those two, in fact, Master B, Bravo, Commodore Paratrooper, Master Bravo, Master Alpha, Master Bravo. Master Bravo was actually in league and was being paid big bucks by all these different plantation owners. And his sole job was on his plantation to take slaves from other plantations that were thinking about rebelling and treating them like shit on his plantation, and then returning them back to the plantation that they were from, and they went back pacified. This is even before the Willie Lynch letters were powerful and came in. This was one of the original training. I found these the works. I'm gonna have to do a video and find the literature I got it from. But it was powerful on how they realized, listen, if you keep beating and you keep killing slaves, you're losing dinero. You have to brainwash them. You have to be able to sacrifice one to enslave 50. You can't kill 30 of them, and then out of the 50, you only got 20 good ones. All you have to do is when they're on Master B's house, Master B has permission to kill 1 or 2 of them, brutally. And they went back to Master A's house like, thank you, Master, for the good chitlins you gave me. Thank you, Master, that you let me have this row in your garden. Thank you, Master, for the clothes you gave me. Thank you, Master, that you gave me a shoe. Thank you, Master, that you gave me this day off. Thank you, Master. They were grateful for their slavery, so they no longer had the need to run. That's how they used to, as one of the ways that they used to mind screw field Negroes that contemplated running. They do the same thing today. That's y'all sunrise, right? This is how and this same plan is being ran today in this country. It's the same plan in this country. Same plan. And they found that was more economical and more effective than killing, come get E, please, than killing their investments, which were slaves. Imagine you have that, what they call the big buck. You know, the guy who was 6'4", 255 pounds. Okay, that's me. Like the guy who was 6'3", 6'4", 260, that big buck, you didn't kill him. That's a loss of good money. He's breeding stock. But if you wanted to get him to the point where he wouldn't rebel, send him to Master B's house. Master B will break him. So much so that when he comes back to our house, he's happy to be here. Anything is better than Master B's house. Anything is better. They would take runaway slaves, the ones that they caught, and bring them to Master B's house. And Master B would treat them like shit. Why? Because now all the slaves that thought about running get to see how these slaves are being treated. If you run, you're going to be a slave under Master B, who was brutal to his slave. So now I'm not going to run anymore. And now I'm actually thankful that this is my master and not that is my master. Mark Chase, that's exactly what it is. Just like the good cop, bad cop, they're running the good owner, bad owner scam. That's exactly it. And they were able to pacify tens of thousands of slaves. It worked generationally, where slave men would tell their sons, if they still have them, hey, just be good to master, because if you ain't good, you could end up at Master B's house, and Master B brutal. He'll beat your skin, he'll beat your back white. He'll be till you can't walk no more. So just you be good to master, and master be good to you. I'm gonna find y'all that book. It's a pretty big book, but it's writings basically from slaves, slave owners. What do they call those guys? The guys that caught slaves. It was different writings that they dug up from them, and how these writings told the story of how they got slaves to literally not want to run anymore. Not Master P. Master Bravo. That's right, Nitzraim. It worked. It's a tried and true concept from before the slaves. Look at what the children of Israel did. They wandered out into the wilderness, right? And because it was hard out there and they didn't have their cucumbers and their leeks and their melons, they wanted to go back to Master A, because Master A was better than Master Yah. Because Master Yah's got us out here without food and water. Master's got us out here. He a harsh Yah. Let's go back to Egypt so that we can serve Master. Master's better than this. Maybe we should just go back to Egypt, because at least he gave us some food. Many of y'all just ran straight from Christianity right into Christianity 2.0. You left Master B's plantation and ran to Master A's plantation, and you think that you got it good because you're shepherd. Nah, you just a punk being used. These systems there's nothing new under the sun. Don't behave for mama, just wait until daddy gets them. Yep. This is the system that is continuing to be ran. So that when somebody who is free tells you, hey, there's freedom, like Malcolm X said, the house Negro and the field Negro. The field Negro says, hey, let's get out of here. Let's separate. Let's separate from this system. Let's separate from these people. I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about the world. I'm taking his words and using it for us. Let's separate from the wicked. Let's separate from, no, what happens is, no, I want to stay here with Massa, because Massa, he got some good going on here. All I gotta do is just do my thing, and Massa might bring me in the house. I just gotta be a good nigga. I'm a serve Massa. You see that in these churches today. If someone says something against the pastor, I don't think pastor's right about this. Because I've been reading in it, what happens? You got that house Negro who runs up to the pastor, Massa, shepherd, Shep, hey Shep, I heard that brother so-and-so's questioning your teachings. He's not agreeing with us. I'm just letting you know, because I'm a good sheep. I'm a good sheep, Master. Can I get some of your chitlins from your table, Master? Master, can I get some good? Mona Mika said, I was just about to say that when they came out of Egypt. See, people don't want freedom. A lot of y'all brothers have already said it, because there's a responsibility with freedom. There's a responsibility with grabbing this book and reading it. There's something about that book and reading it for yourself that just blows the mind away. There's too much responsibility, because you might just read this book and realize, wait a minute, I'm reading this book and what I'm seeing happen is not in the book, which means if I choose to follow the book, there's a high probability I'm going to have to separate from this church, from this camp, from this group. And I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be by myself. Because my master said that if I leave this church, the next place for me is hell. Brother J. Morris. There's responsibility once you leave that plantation. There's a responsibility when you come out here and say, man, so you remember at the time of when Yah was speaking on the mount, every one of those Israelite men could have heard from Yah. But what did they say? Moshe, you go talk to him because we scared as shit seeing the thunderings and the lightnings up here. We scared as shit to go up that mountain and see Yah for who he is. Guarantee you, had Israel walked their ass up that mountain, them men, and saw and heard the lightnings and the thunderings and the fire, and they had experienced that, they would have came down and they would have been walking a tight line. At least you would have had more who were walking a tight line. Instead, what happened is Moshe came down and they were partying. He'd tell the Levites, hey, go throughout the camp and start killing folks. See, the problem is that the reason why a lot of us can't walk in fear, the real true reverence and fear of Yah, is because most of us ain't really heard from him. That's right, Elcount, and the glow from Moses' face. That's right. They said his face was glowing. All the men would have had that glow coming from their face. But see, the problem is that we want somebody to interpret what the Bible says. We have access to Yeshua, to Yah. And what we want is we want a mediator. We want a Moshe to go talk to Yah for us. That's why a lot of these dudes ain't got no fear, because they truly ain't ever heard this book. Even though it's talking, they ain't ever heard the book. So they got to send a Moses up there to go talk to him. Hey, pastor, did you get a word from the Lord? Did you get a word from the Lord, master? Just like the slaves did the master. That's why when you read, if you study the history of the slavery, the master did not want the slaves reading the book. They did not want the slaves reading the Bible, because you might have just found out, because the masters used to teach the slaves, hey, y'all are supposed to be slaves. The Bible talks about slaves obey your master. Hey, you can see it. It's right here. What does that say? It says slaves. Slaves. Who's a slave? I am. Yes. Obey your masters. So in order for me to obey the Lord, I got to obey my master. That's what the slaves did. But then every once in a while, you have that one slave, field Negro, that could read. And he said, look, give me that. Give me that. I ain't trying to have no house Negro read this book to me, or the master, because the master would go with the house Negro and have the house Negro read the Bible. He would teach him how to read, but he'd have them read the Bible to the field Negroes, because they knew, well, we got to get somebody that looks like them to read the book to them. Let's take the Bible, twist it, and we're going to have one of your own read the book to you. And they did that. But every once in a while, there was that brother that could read, and he would read them and be like, this shit is so off. The book don't say that. Read the rest of that verse. Read who the masters and who the servants really were. It wasn't you, sir. What they do? They killed that one. What do they do today? They put him out of the church. They put him, he rebellious. He's a rebellious brother. He won't submit to the leadership, to us shepherds. It's the same shit. The problem is today in the faith is that you got house Negroes sitting up on the pulpit preaching and subduing a bunch of what could be field Negroes, the runaways. They could be runaways. Instead, what he's doing is he's having y'all come onto the plantation, ain't he? Giving him your money, giving him the responsibility of your families, giving him the responsibility of your food, and he's over there telling you, yeah, you got it good sitting here on the plantation, don't you? Yes, master. He turned a bunch of possible field Negroes that were going to run away from this system, run away from the matrix, and turned y'all into a bunch of house Negroes. And I don't mean house Negroes by color. I'm talking about black folk. I'm talking about all of us in one way or another today are a slave. You just got to figure out, are you that house Negro that when master sick, you say, master, we sick? The house Negro felt for his master as if he was his master, as if all the plantation, just like Stephen on the Django Unchained, Samuel L. Jackson on the Django Unchained. There's your house Negro. Jamie Foxx, there's your field Negro. House Negroes are always afraid of field Negro. Those of us that are reading our book, we always bring fear to those that are just being taught. Because the ones that are being taught, I know that they don't ever come and answer my questions. They just, Jeremiah 3:15. That's all they do. That's right, brother Gary Bromelin. That's right. You got to break away from this shit. That's why Neo said in the Matrix that you have to consider those that are still plugged into the Matrix your enemy. Your enemy. Because at any point in time, you could be dealing with a Smith. We better get some understanding of this stuff. The same cycle of slavery, it's just a repeat. Egypt, to all the different types of slaveries that happen in the book that the Church of Israel got themselves into, to the transatlantic slave trade, to the new modern slavery where they tell you and they give you the perception that you're free. Question. Ooh, Brother Mark. Oh, man. Yes, sir. Question. Is it against Torah to plunder the Babylonian system on the way out? Take back all the things the Egyptians have screwed us over for the years we were in the system. I'll say this, brother, without saying too much. I want everything that was stolen from me. Everything. 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 I know a lot of people feel like they shouldn't, but I noticed that when just like Sister Priscilla, Mother Priscilla said, they plundered Egypt when they left. They plundered Egypt. On your way out, I would say, give me back my shit. Give it back. If you know what I'm saying, Brother J. Moore. See, they're playing for keeps. They're playing for keeps. This system, Babylon, Egypt, these churches, all these systems that have been, Brother Daryl Vick, people don't, they can only do that one verse. That's all they can say. And so that's the only verse they know. That's right. Sister Priscilla's right also. Sometimes it's wise to just move on. Sometimes you have to pick your battles. That's what I learned. There are some things that I fought for and got. And there were other things I was like, you know what? The time and the effort it would take for me to fight for this thing is not worth the thing I'm fighting for. Kind of like y'all know what I'm saying? Like, you try to sue somebody, that happens in the system all the time. They try to sue somebody and they realize what they're awarded is all going to go to the attorney. So all you did was waste time and effort and days at work to pay your attorney. There you go. Now, if it's worth it, hey. So that's just a little snippet for us to understand. Now, most people who are not running, that's right. They asked that's right. They did get it from the Egyptians. I believe that the plundering oftentimes was when you went to war against a nation and subdued them, then you took everything that they had. That's right, fearmonger. This system got people. This system has so many people. It's like when the Bible says there's a remnant, when I read that, as I don't see it and say, well, there's a remnant from the world. No, I say there's a remnant from those that say they are his. Many are called, but few are chosen. I oftentimes use the publishing clearinghouse for this example. Many people got the call. You know, ring, 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 you pick up, shalom, shalom, shalom. Huh, that was weird. But few get the call, ring, 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 shalom, you're chosen. Me? I'm chosen? Me? Many are called, many get the phone call, but only few get chosen from that phone call. It's all throughout the book. Many are called, few are chosen. Look at the story of Gideon. Many were called to go to war, but how many were chosen to go to war? Oh, it's getting deep. There were many fighters with Gideon, right? But few of those were chosen. And that's the thing. When you're chosen, you know, I don't try to convince people that are called, because I can't give the people the eyes to see or the ears to hear. That's all Yah's business. So the people that are entrapped, I don't try to pull them out. You can't pull them out. Yah does the choosing. I don't do the choosing. I don't do the convincing. When truth hits a person, when this truth hits a person, the job is done. It's not my job to convince a person. It's not my job to try and persuade a person. What's my job to do is to walk this out. And when a person looks at what you're doing, if the spirit of truth is in them, they're going to say, huh, that's right. What I'm living is bullshit. That's right. They know it. Too many times I've seen women try to convince a man to follow Yah. You ain't convincing him. I've seen men try to convince their wives to follow Yah. First of all, she's not submissive to you, and she's not going to follow you. She ain't going to follow Yah. I don't try to convince anybody. And I think that's sometimes one of the biggest problems that I've had in this life is if a person says, well, I don't want to be here with you. Bye. Bye. Everything I read in the Bible, shake the dust off your feet. If they don't receive me, the dust off your feet. Do not give what is holy unto dogs, and don't cast your pearls among swine. So I ain't tripping. Well, I don't think that you're bye. And then they leave it. You ain't gonna fight for me? No. Well, why not? If you cared for me, you'd fight for me. I said, what the hell? I'm gonna fight for you? And then you got Sister Ebony and Sister Tanisha. At the time, now we have Sister Taylor also, but at the time with Sister Tanisha and Sister Ebony, they were like, you didn't do any fighting. Does Yeshua fight for his, or do we come to him? When he is near and he calls, you come if you're his. If you're not his, my sheep know my voice, and they will not respond to any other hireling shepherd. They know my voice. We respond to that. Well, my wives hear my voice. So they don't respond to any other voice. So if you're listening to some other voice, you know, and men, this is just from me. If I'm with a woman who was listening to another man's voice, well, then she should go to him. I'm not fighting. Darrell, why do people interpret many are called but few are chosen to mean few are chosen to preach the word. I don't know, brother. I don't know. I have no clue. And I've heard that interpretation also. I have no clue. It's just that simple for me, brother. That life is just that simple for me. All this extra fighting and arguing, and listen, there's too much going on in this world for me to be fighting and arguing for a position that y'all already gave to me. And you know what? For all of us here, no man can take away the position that y'all gave you. No man can send you to hell. He can try all he wants to. He can tear his hair out and stress himself out and cut his flesh and do all sorts of crazy shit. He can't send you to hell. The only thing that he can do is where that brainwashing comes in, is he can try to convince you to believe that he's got a hell to send you to. He tries to convince you that if you're not with this ministry or this fellowship or this camp or this church, he's convincing you that if you're not part of them, you're going to go to hell. That's the best that he can do. That's the pinnacle of what he can do. But you just believe the book. And you know what? Let me tell you something. There are few leaders out there that honestly preach the Bible not to make you into a sheep and not to make gain of you. There are so few. And let me tell you, most of these big ones aren't it. Most of them aren't it. 1 out of 1,000. One out of 1,000. That's right, Mother Elaine, because pastors teach you that you have to be special to preach. That's what the book says. Some of the book says. Each one of you men is required to be a preacher to your household. Teach your house, to preach the word to your house. Each one of you men is required to do that. Stop turning over your right, just like we did when Moses went up the mount. Stop turning over your rights to somebody else. Oh, but y'all said it right. Said you got to go to seminary. That's right. You got to go to seminary school. Or like the way these ministries work today is the head pastor has to see the anointing on you, and then he'll deem that you are a pastor or something like that. Madness. Absolute madness. Sowing and reaping. Cover versus concealment. When you find out your ways were never his ways. Let's turn to, let me get there. Gosh, my phone is moving so slow right now. Oh my God. Isaiah 55. Isaiah 55. We're going to start at verse, Bizman, Shabbat Shalom, my brother. We're going to start at verse 6. Oh my gosh. Mother Lynn, that's ridiculous. Netzraim, that is. When I went to, when I was in college, I took the upper seminary classes. I tested into the upper seminary classes. And I took them because I want to know how the church was deceiving people. I had to know, like, this shit is just so off. And I found out it was so off. First of all, what they teach a lot of is Marcion, Tertullian, Ignatius, Calvin. They teach a lot of commentaries. That's it. A lot of what these modern day preachers do today is commentary. It's somebody else's commentary work that they kind of take put a spread on it, and then they resell it to the people. It's crazy. So when I was listening to their classes, they did one of the classes, it was a 400 level class, and it was a pastor who'd been a pastor for 20 something years, and he was teaching the students what 7 verses to use to disarm your congregation when you start sensing rebellion in the church. You know, follow me as I follow Christ, rebuke not an elder, you know, those verses. And I shall give you shepherds. That was one of them. These were the ones that you used to disarm the church. So I did studies, and I started questioning the professor. That one in a Christian theology. I started questioning the professor. Man, the professor told me, I will pass you if you never come to my class again. Why? Because I was questioning out loud, and a lot of the other students were like, huh. Now, at that time, I was only interested in playing basketball. I was not actually really serving the Father. I was upset with the church. So I started studying the Bible myself to disprove what they were preaching. And I was right. And I told y'all back when I was 13 years old, after seeing the governance of churches and the bullshit in churches, my parents were a part of it. They were high up in the church, a big church in California, in San Diego, California. I said, until, Father, you show me who you really are, I will not serve you, because this is not you. I know you're real, but what I'm seeing is a bunch of bullshit. I will not serve you. I will search for you. I will look for you. I will seek you, but I'm not taking this bullshit. So during that time, I didn't keep the Shabbat. I was doing my own thing, but I was reading because I just wanted to know, where are you? It reminded me of like when Abraham was seeking for Yah in the book of Jasher. Is it the sun? Well, it can't be the sun because the sun goes down. Huh. Oh, God must be the moon and the stars. Well, he can't be the moon and the stars, because when the sun comes out, the moon and the stars go away. I knew Yah existed, and I knew he was always there, but I didn't see it. And I searched hard. And I didn't go to college until I didn't get my basketball scholarship until I was 19, 20 years old. A couple years after I had already graduated high school. And that's when I guess I started seeking him for real. I was serving basketballs, my God. And I guess, well, I was serving basketball deeply. And I guess, Yah said he's a jealous Yah. He was like, wait a minute, hell no, you ain't searching for me no more. Search for me. So I kept searching. And I went to those classes, and I knew, okay, Yah's real. And I know. But he didn't reveal himself to me until, wow, years after I would even finish college. That's when he finally revealed himself to me and showed me who he was via his book. Oh, yes, Brother Darrell, I questioned him. He passed me. Said, don't ask me any more questions. Don't come to class anymore. You'll pass. Actually, he said he's going to pass him with a C-, and I actually talked him into a B-. But these college government, politics, it all works. I was able to talk myself right in there. They now have on tight shirt pastor vacation. No, they don't, Sister Aspen. Stop it. Stop, sis. No, they don't. Oh, they have a pastor vacation fund. Saw it on his favorite elder's channel. I couldn't believe it. If I had a pastor ask me for money for vacation, we'd get up and leave the church. Oh, they got a pastor vacation fund now. Woo! Man. When I read Yeshua needed a vacation, he just walked into the wilderness. Today's shepherds need vacations that the ministry and the people got to pay for. But back in the day, woo! Yeshua, he just walked away from the people. Oh my gosh, Sister Aspen. Oh, sister. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, the favorite elder, so I'm gonna go look at it. Oh God. There's your Hebrew Israelite, man of Yah, Hebrew of the year. There you go. Good God. Well, they going to Jamaica again. Right, he's the new Creflo. Before you know it, he's gonna be flying around for his conferences. And this stuff, you can't make this shit up. You cannot make this up. But it's not. He's not asking for it. His elders are asking for it. God. At some point, we need to police our own. Palmetto Paratrooper, I absolutely agree with you. But here's the difference. People like that, I think that they have to. They need to exist. They need to. Just like I said, in today's world, I believe I'm gonna use these words. So for those of you who are very sensitive, if you want to hit mute right now. I believe in this world, you have to have niggas and you have to have hoes or bitches, which the Apocrypha says are shameless women. You need niggas, which are low life, deceiving ass, wicked ass dudes, and you gotta have shameless women that Sirach chapter 26 talks about in the Apocrypha. That shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. So you gotta have niggas, you gotta have bitches. And a nigga could be in I'm talking about any culture, any race, those type of dudes and those sorts of women. Likewise, you have to have these sorts of dudes. I think the Bible says these things needs must be. They have to be. They're fulfilling prophecy. They're fulfilling Matthew 24. They have to do what they're doing. And they have to weed out those people, just like, Marshall Applewhite and the Hell Bob comment, the Purple Kool-Aid, Jim Jones in Jonestown. These people have to exist. Right. Brother Bizman said he's doing the work of his father. They have to do the work of their father. Our job is to simply warn. The watchman warns. The watchman didn't go and rescue people. He just blew the shofar. Where's it at? Hold on one second. The watchman simply blows this to warn the people. That's all he does. He blows it to warn the people. It's up to the people to make the decision that they're going to make. That's right, Mark Chase. This need has to be fulfilled. It has to. These people have to exist. So I'm not talking to them. When I do these shepherds and talk about this sort of, I'm not talking to their shepherd or shepherds. I'm talking to the people who are on the fence about it and are studying themselves and saying this stuff isn't right. The devout members, I'm not talking to them. I'm not talking to the elders or leadership. These things have to happen. But there's always those sheep that, because the Bible says that the shepherd scattered the sheep. Well, I consider that a good thing. When these fake ass shepherds, because Yeshua doesn't scatter the sheep, but when these fake ass shepherds fleece the flock and scatter the sheep, there are always those sheep that start. They say, you know what? That was false. Yah's not false. The Bible's not false. That person is false. So I need to keep seeking. And my hope is that they run into these videos and other videos from other brothers, other sisters, Brother Mike, Sister Hannah, who's been on his channel discussing brainwashing. They find these videos and they realize I was in a cult. I was in a group that was abusing me, taking advantage of me. And you know what? Hey, sometimes that has to be. But now you're free. Now you are able to pick up this book for yourself and read the book. And you'll find out how many things did not line up with the book at all. You'll find out how many opinions and dogmas and bull. So those people, it's like a balance. It's like a balance. The truth is coming out. And the weak, I hate saying it, but it's kind of like the streets. The weak got gobbled up by the streets. The strong survive. It's the same thing with our faith. The weak get gobbled up. The strong survive. Well, my goal is that my hope is that those little ones, the Bible calls them little ones, the ones that are new to the faith, they hear these things and leave it. Where they come up with that Quentin Wells, bless you, brother. Where they come up with that shit from? Hebrew of this year. Is this real? Because I wasn't informed, brother. Yes. The particular person that we are talking about won the Hebrew of the Year award because so-called in this faith, they were handing out awards for the Hebrew Man of the Year. No joke. You can type that shit out in your Google search bar. If you know who we're talking about, type his name, Hebrew Man of the Year, and you'll see it. There was an awards assembly. Somebody had to put me up on this. I didn't even know this shit even existed. They told me, yeah. Someone that left that ministry. Yeah, this man won Hebrew Man of the Year. I was like, you lying. You lying. You know you lying. Sister Lovely Dudley said it. Had a whole promo video of him. And I was like, this shit can't be real. No, it was real. I found Hell Fair 2%. I bet do well, won multiple times. I only know of the one that somebody told me about, and I was like, this shit can't be real. Are we really handing out awards now like it's a Grammy? Why is it that Israel could not stop taking on the ways of this world? Hebrew of the Year had tailored clothes and bodyguards. I thought I was hallucinating. Sister, I was baffled. First of all, I was like, brother, don't give me that shit. Because, sometimes, like, even if a person doesn't like a ministry or a camp, I don't like lies against the camp. I just want the truth. So when people say, well, they did this, and it's not true, I'm like, come on, tell the truth. So I didn't think the brother was honest. I was like, you making this shit up. He sent me the freaking video. And I was like, no, you've got to be, no. And he was right. And then, of course, he had a falling out with the guy who gave him the award. They had a falling out, like usual. So I was baffled. Brother Quentin Wells, this stuff is not fake. It's real. This is what the faith is. That's right, Sister Amanda. No need to lie about them when they do enough nonsense on their own. That's why I don't like to listen to them lies. Tell me the truth about it, and we can go from there. But Brother Quentin, this stuff is real. This stuff is real. And these are the same groups that have damn near soothsayers on their channel prophesying. Listen, soothsayers, damn near witches. This is what let me know at the moment that I reached. So I'm like, you know what, Father? Thank you. And you know what? It's not just that group. There are a lot of groups that operate the same way. A lot of so-called Hebrew Israelite groups that operate the same way. Oh, Sister Aspen, it was a production. And I don't see that anywhere in the Bible either, sister. Not one place that I see anybody coming to Yeshua, you have been nominated as the Hebrew Man of the Year. Mother Priscilla, I hope people wake up and leave these camps also. I truly do. I truly hope people wake up, and more are. More and more are waking up, and when they see these trends. But sometimes it takes for somebody to notify them that, hey, look for this. When you look for this, that's your warning. And they look for it and they see it the next Sabbath and they're like, what the? You just spoke about this thing. I just listened to Brother So-and-so, Brother Mike, say these things. And that's exactly what happened. We're just going from what the book says. This is why so many are turned away from the truth. We're tired of being lied to in Christianity. And when we finally believe we found the truth, we get this. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. That's why the name of this channel, that's why most people don't even know my name. This channel, it tells you exactly what it's about, what I'm about. It's not following me. It's not following The Rock. It's not following Sister T. It's not following Brother Chris. It's not Watchman Chris. It's following Yahshua. Hopefully, the live streams and the videos, even the preparedness video, point you always to the book, and the book points you to him. That's it. Not a ministry name, not a channel name. Him. And most people want church. That's why. And that's why I'm not worried about numbers on my channel. I talk the way I talk, and if people don't like it, unsubscribe. I talk the way I talk because I'm trying to lead people to the one who is my master. I'm not leading you to me because I can't. I'm a master of my household, but I ain't a master of nobody else. My household. I'm pointing you to my master, brothers. I'm pointing you to him. And you know what, damn it? If I need a vacation, I'll pay for it. If I need a new car, I'll pay for it. If I want some more land, I'll pay for it. Hey, bud. Hi. Pop. She's in here in the kitchen. You need to be quiet. Isaiah chapter 55, starting at verse 6. See, Pac. That's it, brother. Oh, brother Gary. Woo, man. Right there. We really do need to get back to that. It was always supposed to be that simple. You remember, Israel wanted a king. And that opened up a whole new problem. Man. Isaiah 55. And this is what we're talking about. A lot of people think that they're serving Yah. They're doing things his way. People are going to find out that they're not. You're not. Seek Yahweh while he may be found. We're in verse 6. Isaiah 55, 6. Seek Yahweh. Seek Yahweh while he may be found. Not seek him when you're ready. When your seeking for Yahweh starts, he better be able to be found by you. You know, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago about the 5 wise and the 5 foolish virgins. When the watchman came and said, "He's the bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him." That means when a bridegroom, if y'all know math, when 2 intersecting lines cross, what is that called? What has been easy? It's the point of intersection. So when 2 lines cross on a line graph, you put a dot there. That's where they cross. You mark that point. Okay, 4 over, 3 up. All right, 4, comma, 3 in parentheses. You mark that on the graph. So your intersection with Yah better be at that point. This whole idea that I'm going to find Yah when I feel like it, you better find him when he is to be found. You better be ready with your oil when he crosses that point. Not when you feel like it. Go to the bridegroom. If you're not ready and you don't have your oil, then when the bridegroom passes that point and goes into the wedding chamber, if you are on the outside and you're not going in with the bridegroom, you will not be allowed into the wedding chamber. Because we see at the 5 foolish came and knocked. They had their oil now. Now they're ready. Now I'm ready with my oil. Let me in. We are so prideful to think that we can turn up and show up to Yah whenever we feel like it, that we can repent whenever we feel like it, whenever we are done sinning, whenever we're done jacking our life up, we can just say up to Yah when we're ready. No. He tells you in Proverbs 1 that if you don't take any of his counsel or any of his reproof, he's going to laugh at you when your calamity comes. When you sow those seeds of calamity and you reap calamity, nobody's going to be there for you to bail you out or to help you. That's exactly it, Mother Priscilla. That means there could be a time Yah will not be found. You look at people in your life. How many times have you told them something and repeated it to them? Didn't have any effect. Just look at what's happening in this world today. There was a time. Look at the story of Joseph. There was 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine. During that 7 years, during any point in that 7 years, hopefully in the beginning of 7 years, you could have stored up food. Once the 7 years ended, it doesn't matter how much praying you did, how much speaking in tongues you did, how much being in the spirit you were, how much you roll on the floor, how much you did the running man and the crit walk and the blood stomp. It doesn't matter how much worshiping you did. 7 years, plenty, were over. Let that sink in. Story of Noah. There was a time to get yourself onto an ark. There it is, Brother Darrell. King Saul learned the hard way when he was rejected as king. There was a time that you have. That time is not forever. Yah's grace and mercy is omnipotent. It's never ending. But it doesn't mean it's always there. There was a time when your rebellion, when your ignorance, when your lack of moving in truth ends your opportunity. Look at the story of Joseph. Look at the story of Noah. Look at the story of Lot. Look at all these different stories when there was a time to get ready. When the time was over, that was it. When the 7 years of famine hit, it doesn't matter how much you wanted to get right. You ain't going to eat. So people sold their possessions. They sold their lands. And then they eventually sold themselves. People today, we don't get that. We think, well, I'm going to go out and have my fun and eat where I want to eat and do what I want to do and buy what I want to buy. And then suddenly, when the shit goes down, I'm going to pray to Yah, and he's going to open up an avenue for me. We don't get it. We don't get it. We don't get it. And it's sad. It's very sad. There's that time. I tell sisters that all the time. Sisters that write me, I'm single, what do I do? I'm like, did you ever consider that the fact that you actually realize the situation that you're in right now is an opportunity for you? Maybe that's Yah saying, bam, here I am. Here's your next move, sister. Go do this. Well, what about, okay, when the bridegroom comes and he goes in that party and he shuts that door, it's over. Just so you understand that. You can take all the time you want to, but when that door closes, it's over. Brothers, when that door closes, it's over. It doesn't matter how much praying you do. When that door closes, you're on the outside. He's going to call you a wicked servant. It doesn't matter how much in the spirit you are. I give you these as a warning. There it is, Brother J. Morris. You better shoot your shot while you got the ball in your hand. Well, why are you worried about us, brother? Because that's what a watchman does. He sounds the shofar. That's what his job is. He sounds the shofar. And then if shit befalls you, your blood's on your head. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not even here to argue with you. I'm just here to let you know, just as many other brethren are, that the opportunity and the window is closing. He's coming at the door and he's knocking. He's providing you the answer, brothers. All these prayers you've asked, Father, how am I going to get out of this situation? There's your answer. Father, how am I going to get out of this situation? There's your answer. Father, how am I going to get out of this situation? It's the same answer. But Father, I don't want to do that. Well, then you don't want to be saved. I didn't want to move out here. I did not want to move out here. When he said go, all right, I'm going. I guess that's what I'm supposed to be going. I'm going to do it. Then I got out here and I realized, shit, I don't know what's best for me. Maybe I should stop. But let's keep reading. Let's keep reading. Verse 6, Isaiah 55, 6. Seek Yahweh while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Why do you want to call upon Yahweh while he is near? Because that's when he hears you. That's when he hears you. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous their thoughts. Let them return to Yahweh, that he may have mercy on him. That's where the mercy kicks in. The mercy doesn't kick in when you feel like it. The mercy kicks in when you return back to him. That means you've repented and turned away from your ways, your wicked ways, and your thoughts. And return to him, now you have mercy. Turning away your rescuers because you believe Yahweh will save you and you fail to realize Yahweh sent the rescuers, you're turning away. Brother, that is the truth. Woo, brother. Why are you always talking about us as getting covered? Because there are some rescuers out there. Why are you always talking about us? I'm safe where I am. Okay. Why are you always talking about it's coming out? Well, it's impossible for me to come out. You don't understand. All right, I don't understand. You're saying it like I wasn't there at one point in time. You're saying it like there are not countless brothers who are in that situation at one time or another. You're the only one who's ever been there. You're the only one who understands that pain, right? No. The difference between you and them is that they called upon Yah when he was near. They read the Bible. They understand my way of coming out, right? Safe for now. There you go. Safe for now. Their way of coming out is going to be different than yours. Your way of coming out may be joining that brother's land. I know brothers on this chat, and this is the shit that I don't understand. I know brothers on this chat who have said, I am looking, a brother can come out. I am willing to pay this brother more than he is making living in the city, more than he is making working his dead-end job, more than he is making at his $12 to $15 an hour job. This brother's willing to pay him that on top of room and board. So that brother could come out and make damn near, I don't even want to say that, how much it is, but it's more than 15, it's more than $20 an hour. And he's going to pay for your room and board. You're going to have that on his property. The law is perfect. There's your way to come out of her. No, I would rather just go and get my own job and do it my own way, and I'm just like, what? What? This brother was offering you a way goat, you could come out of her, you could live with a brother on his property and make more than what you're making in the city. And then you want to sit back and say, well, I'm just having a hard time coming out, brother. Y'all still made me pay the price for my crimes and did not bail me out of 128 months in prison. Looking back, I wouldn't trade it for nothing. We became closer. Yes, sir. Well, die well tomorrow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. These are stories that I have heard. And these brothers still decided to stay in the city. I gave the brothers this dude's number. This brother actually said it on the live stream. No offers, no takers. And I was just like, if I was a brother, even if I had a family, Monamique, even if I had a family, I would talk about that brother. Hey, brother, this is my family. You know that, right? But at the same time, listen, I'm a good worker. See, I don't want to be a servant to my brother. Nigga, you are a servant to your job, to your boss at your job. You serve the master at your job. And you got a brother right there that keeps the law. You don't ever have to worry about, can I get the feast days off, sir? Can I get the Shabbat off, sir? Because you're living on a brother's property who keeps the law. In fact, the book says when your servant leaves, when that brother leaves your property, you leave him better off than when he arrived there. So not only do you have money, but that brother's probably going to leave you off. He's probably going to send you away with chickens, goats. You may have some beef already stacked up because you done slaughtered cows. You got seeds. You got building experience. But no, you rather rock that. You rather rock your slavery out by yourself. Especially those dudes that say, see, you can always tell the dudes that don't know what they're talking about. Well, you still got to pay taxes, brother. What you pay for a month of your rent would pay my taxes for damn near 10 years. At least 6 years. What you pay for your 1 month of rent, my taxes are paid for 6 years. So now what? I don't understand it. You see, this is why we're reading this verse, this section. You reap what you sow. Brother, Palmetto Paratrooper, he might send you away with a wife. That's not a benefit I've ever heard of at any modern job. Dun said his taxes are $250 a year for me. And mine are under that. $250 a year, that's what? Taking a goat to the auction? Taxes paid. Planting a garden and selling some of your access? Taxes paid. Go doing a handyman job somewhere? Shalom, Mother Kate. Shalom, shalom. Taxes paid. Mother Elaine said $174. Taxes paid. Even if your taxes were $1,000 a year, how much do you pay for that apartment a month? When you look at the average, or right around in your major city, your average, I don't even say average, let's just say on the low end, you pay $12,000 a month for rent. $12,000, that means $1,000 a month for your rent. Do you realize that even if you were paying $5,000 a month on your a year on your taxes, you're still getting a huge break? Palmetto Paratrooper said his is 167. Mine's right around there. I think mine last year was around 130. I don't understand. See, Yah has a way out. The problem is that we are so good at finding excuses to stay in that we will never come out. The reality of it is the majority of the people that continue to make excuses will never come out. There's always going to be another excuse. Bakersfield, California $2,500 a month for a slum apartment. $2,500. That is, for a lot of the people you just saw, 10 years worth of tax money. Which means all you would literally have to do is take your money, what you make, take an extra $100 a month out of what you make on your land, put it away. That's $1,200 a month or a year. For 2 years of saving $100 a month, your taxes are paid for the next 10 years. Ballgame. My son pays $68 on his property of half an acre. $68. My question is this: how do you afford to live in an apartment but can't afford your tax? Oh, okay, never mind. Majority of people, including in the knowledge, love it. Brother Dun, you just told the stone cold truth. They love oppression, and then they say things like, "We are under our curses." Well, the Bible, what I read, this is personal. What I read, the Bible says, blessings if you obey, curses if you don't. So if you're still living in your curses, that should tell you you're not obeying. That's Deuteronomy 28. Curses if you obey. Obedience if you obey. Blessings if you obey. Curses if you don't. And you're still in your curses? We cursed. That would tell me that you're probably still disobeying. Oh yes, the work is real. Sister Cassie, brother Jay Moore said, Sister Cassie, my taxes on 6. Listen to this. Brother Jay Morris said, my taxes on 656-acre homestead is less than that. But look at all these great points. It's hard work. You have to pull weeds, like Mother Kate said. But look at Mother Elaine said. And they have to buy all their food. And you have to pay for everything. Brother Darrell said, $100 for our 1 acre. That's why I be laughing when people be talking about, yeah, if you don't pay your taxes, they can come and take it away. $100? How about this? If you don't pay your rent, you're evicted. So let's just play this numbers game. It's a lot easier for me to come up with $150 selling just some random seeds that I got from my garden. Even if I didn't have a job, I can come up with $150 in 365 days. That's making less than 50 cents a day. That's all I have to do. All I have to do is go to Walmart and walk the parking lot and collect pennies, nickels, and dimes and quarters on the ground, and I can come up with my taxes. You can't pay your rent like that in a month, though, can you? Bob Bertram said you can accidentally make enough money in a year to pay your taxes. But the trade-off is that Mother Kate was saying, Brother Nitzraim was saying, Brother Dun was saying, that's right, Brother Dun, that's an Ecclesiasticus, it's a rock. Is the laborious work that you're going to have to put in. My husband's family has 80 acres and pays $203 a year. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. People don't want that labor. So you can always tell those that are inexperienced in this and are just kind of repeating what they heard somebody else say. Oh, that sounds like a good point. I'm going to say it. And then they don't realize how dumb they sound when they say it. Because those of us that live this lifestyle are looking at like, well, my taxes are only $200. Can't come with $200? Sister Cassie, I can pick up cans on the weekends on my back roads and pay my land taxes. I could sell black walnuts off my black walnut trees and pay my land taxes 5 or 6 times over in a year. Sister Aspen, they do assessments, and even with the assessments, it doesn't amount to very much because they don't tax you on everything. So like out here, just gonna give you an idea, they will only tax you on the buildings that are put in the ground. So let's say you get a shed home and put it on blocks, they won't tax you on that. If you live in a travel trailer, they won't tax you on that. But if you put if your building or structure is in any way attached to an anchor that goes into the ground, they'll tax you on that. So a lot of people out here get around it by simply living in travel trailers, and their taxes are basically nothing. Mother Elaine said, I sold 4 baby layettes I crocheted and paid the taxes first year here. Sister, I saw a comment from Sister Monimika said, what do you have to do to buy land? Well, it used to be a lot easier. Now it's a lot more complicated because they want a lot more money up front, and a lot of the smaller parcels of land are gone. So there's still land out there, but you're talking, coming up with $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 to buy it. And the land prices out here skyrocketing. The land prices out here are skyrocketing. So my taxes may be over $200 this next year. Yikes! Even if they double, $300. But it's become a lot more complicated because that's right. Sister Priscilla said it. No taxes on buildings built on skids. They don't tax you on that. So you could build all your buildings on skids, on blocks, as long as the blocks are not cemented into the soil in any way. You could don't put a footer on them. Now the frost line over here is 13 inches. You may get some shifting, but if you know where to navigate that, you could have some of the lowest land taxes out here because you didn't put anything into the ground. And assessment-wise, they don't even assess us every year. They assess us like every 5 years out here. But done. Yes, sir. When I learned that, I was like, so I can actually build buildings and just put them up on skids, on block, and not have to pay the taxes on them? Interesting. Brother Nick Malone said, chop firewood for an elderly person, and that'll cover the taxes. Right. Right. Go to somebody's land and chop their wood. Out here, when people cut their trees down, they are always having, if you come in and buck it, you can take it. Well, you could buck the wood of fallen trees on their property, load it onto a trailer, bring the trailer back to your place, split it, stack it, and sell it in front of your property and pay your land taxes. The frost line is 4 inches. Oh. That's so nice. That'd be a whole lot better when it came to land footers. Land tax on 20 acres in California is somewhere around $2,500 a year. So I will still be thankful, even if they are $250. Right. Even if my land taxes were $3,500 a year, I'd be happy. Because you pay that in 2 months. Anyways, I'm sorry for that digression. Verse 7. That he may have mercy on them, and to our Yah, that he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not. Oh, and one more thing about the taxes I want to say is that the day they're due, you actually, in a lot of places, have 2 years to pay your taxes. What I mean by that is, After you miss paying your taxes, your whole $200, they don't come the next day like they do when you miss your rent and say, you have a 3-day pay or quit. 3-day pay or quit. No. You can go to the tax office and they'll attach a late fee, which might be what, a whole $25. So now your taxes go from $250 to $275, and you can have a whole nother 7, 8, 9 months. I was going to say that, Ms. Rain. Also, in these areas, we have a homestead tax credit, which basically means I don't pay anything. Sister Priscilla said, or Mother Priscilla said, you have 3 years in Missouri to pay your taxes. So you have 3 years to come up with that 500, let's say year 1 and year 2 you're behind. You got 3 years to come up with $500. Come on now. So a lot of inexperienced people throw that, if they can take your land away, they ain't taking it away like they'll take away your apartment. Don't pay your rent in your apartment and see how fast. See how many months they give you. Anyways, verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, saith Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. So what he's telling you is, no matter how bad you try, his ways are higher than your ways, and his thoughts are higher than your thoughts. But here's the thing. Yahweh gave you his ways. Whoa, Pamela Pertrooper said, the law says 30 days, but I've seen people get 10-day notices in their apartments in Columbia, South Carolina. There you go. So it's in Columbia, you can have up to 40 days and you're out. Pay or quit. Compared to 2 or 3 years. I'm just saying. His ways are higher than our ways, and his thoughts are higher than his thoughts. But oh, shoot. In Arkansas, if you don't pay your rent in 10 days, they can put you in jail. Damn. I didn't know that, Sister Cassie. Wow. Nitra ain't right. I've seen 3 days also. I've seen 3 days after that rent is due, they have they can start the eviction process after 3 days. Depending on your lease and the wording in your lease, they can start an eviction process in the courts 3 days after your rent is due. Right. You ain't paying it from jail. So we see that his ways are not our ways. Now, he gave us his ways. So the things that I talk about on this channel, people can get frustrated all day long. I'm just telling you Yah's ways and his thoughts. That's all I'm saying. When I say this, like, sisters get covered, I'm just telling you what you can routinely see throughout the book. Now, if you want to say, well, I don't want to be covered, cool. You do you. Oh, yes. Brother Mark Chess said, by the way, there is a coming, both widespread delayed evictions and foreclosures. Yes. There's going to be a bloodbath, and you're about to see tent cities erupt everywhere because these eviction moratoriums are ending. And I just want you to know, when these eviction moratoriums end and people are put out in the streets, because that's all coming. It's coming to a head now. The evictions are going through the courts, and the eviction courts are backlogged with cases. And a lot of these cases, they're just basically saying, you didn't pay, you're out. You didn't pay, you're out. You ain't pay, you're out. You didn't pay, you're out. So these cities are now going to become tent cities. And when tent cities erupt, and you've got desperate people on the streets, violence erupts. The same way you would not want a tent city right outside your apartment building. When people can't pay their bills and they're put out on the streets, they're going to become violent. People don't understand that. People do not understand. They do not. I'm not saying this stuff for me. Hey, you want to stay in the city? Stay in the city. I don't give a damn if you stay in the city. My job is to just blow the shofar and keep it pushing. Whatever happens is on your head, though. Brother, can I come to move to you? Why didn't you want to come and join into my house, my property, this, brother? Why didn't you want to do that when you could have? Why didn't you want to do it when you had something to offer? Why did you wait until you exhausted all of your resources and then decided, well, maybe I should finally obey Yah now? If you stay on someone else's property in a structure you made for 180 days without being found, then that area that you're on becomes yours. Squatters' rights. Yep. Missouri has a lot of that going on right now. Yah Sunrise said it, more in the city, less out here. That's absolutely it. Blow the shofar and keep it pushing needs to be a t-shirt. Brother Nick Malone said, bless you, Brother Nick. He said, I'm seeing a lot more homeless around here in Oklahoma City, more in Norman, Oklahoma. They're popping up everywhere. I know a couple people down in St. Louis, Kansas City, and Little Rock, and they said that it's booming. There are literally tents popping up, tarps popping up, people sleeping on the sidewalk. And now, and I hate to report this, it hurts me, but at the same time, the shofar's been blown. They're finding that one of the leading growing demographic is women. More and more women are finding themselves on the streets. More and more. And it's sad because you don't have to be in that situation. Men, how many men have offered you an opportunity? Sisters, how many times does a shofar have to sound? Why are we waiting? Sister Priscilla, yes, we do. We have that also. Why? Why are you waiting? Well, I don't, and I just feel, and I think, listen, a collapse doesn't care about your feelings. Hunger doesn't care about how you feel. Eviction courts don't give a damn if you have a child or two. These things don't have feelings. They have a law. Collapse operates on a law. When things collapse, there's destruction. There's rubble underneath the collapse. Sister Aspen said it, that sister, these women are going to disappear or be, and y'all can substitute that little star for a P. It worries me so much. My daughters have secure homes, and I'm so thankful and grateful. I'm not telling you this because I want your money. I'm telling you this because if you study history, if you study the collapse of Venezuela, women turned to selling themselves to feed them and their children. Well, that couldn't happen here. We also said that this society, this economic structure, can you plug that back in? This economic structure would never collapse. We also said that society They would never close down the stores. Push it in here. Put down. Thank you. They would never close the store. No, pop, no. Go that way. We also said that people would never have to social distance themselves. We also said, we would never, there's all these things that we would never do. And guess what? It seems like every month a new pinnacle is being reached. Mother Kay said women have always been vulnerable, especially in troubled times. That's history. You see it in the Bible with the woman and her son and Elijah. She was vulnerable. They were going to eat their last morsel of food and die because of a drought that caused a famine. And what do we have taking place all over this country right now? I wouldn't say famine. We're not there yet. But we got rising food prices. We have lake mead drying out. We got all sorts of things taking place in this country that falling on your knees and praying is not going to make water go in your pipes. What Yah's going to do is he's going to tell you, do this. 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine. Years of plenty. Oh, Sister Amanda, I am so glad you said that. I am already hearing of that group that I can't stand. CPS, they are rubbing their hands right now. Because as she said, eviction courts are going to be evicting. And what a lot of people don't know is that with some of these courts, because on your agreement, your rental agreement, it states that how many occupants you have in the house. And some rental agreements will even state how many children are in the house. When you get evicted, that information gets parlayed to CPS. And CPS is now looking for you. And then many times they'll send out a worker before your eviction date to check to see, do you have a place to go? It can be as wicked as it wants to be, but that's what's happening. I recently saw a video of a CPS agent telling a foster child to prostitute herself for food or money. Wow, Paladino, if you have a link to that, you can send that to me. Wow. People often think this couldn't happen to me. Well, over a year ago, I didn't think I'd get COVID, but I did. Thank y'all, I'm still here. Nobody ever thinks. Shabbat Shalom, Mana Yeshua. Brother Ola, Shabbat Shalom. Nobody ever thinks it's going to happen to them until it does. And that's the problem with our American mindset. We can read the book. I believe Bear Independent said the word famine is used like 92 or 97 times in this book. We know of many famines in this book. Joseph, famine. Elijah, famine. I had another one on my brain. I just lost it. Can't remember where it was. Ruth, thank you. That's my son. My son said, thank you, bud. My oldest son just said, Ruth, thank you. Ruth, famine. Famines are all over the book. And famines oftentimes cause people to relocate. Famine is notorious in the Bible. And we think, and when we read it, we also see when a famine happened, it affected Yah's people just as much. Thank you, Palmetto Paratrooper. Thank you. Well, it happened in Houston. Box 26 in Houston. Wow. Brother, can you send it in the can you put it in the WhatsApp? Because I can't copy it fast enough. Can you put it in our WhatsApp group? By the way, for those that may be inquiring, we do have a small WhatsApp group. It's kind of a homesteading WhatsApp group. And, we discuss things, Bible scriptures. We talk about ideas, homesteading ideas. We bounce ideas off each other. We kind of show each other some of the things that we've learned and are doing. It's not a Bible thumping group. It's just a group for us. It's an encouragement group. If you'd be interested in that group, let me know. It's not. We're not trying to make it big. We're not trying to make it big. We have. I think we have. Most of us are homesteaders. I think we may have some that aren't homesteaders, but are interested in homesteading in the group. So if you're interested, let me know. And I know we got some. Brother Jay Morris is in it. Palmetto Paratroopers in it. Bizman 76 is in it. It's just a nice, encouraging group. We got it, but it's on WhatsApp. We're going into a famine with this year's harvest, and people don't even see it because the news isn't reporting it. That's right. Thank you, Palmetto Paratrooper. I got it. Thank you. It's happening. I mean, if you just looked at how many have watched the price of a 10-pound bag of potatoes. When I was buying potatoes, I was paying $3 for a 10-pound bag of potatoes. They're now $9.58. I was paying $3.50 a year ago. They are now $9.50. I think it's $9.58. $9.59. $9.59 for a 10-pound bag of potatoes. That's what I'm doing. Mother Elaine, that's what I'm doing. Nitz Rahim at the gate, send me a message to my email address. And then make sure you have WhatsApp downloaded. And I'll send you an invite, and then you can join the group and just do a little introduction of yourself to the group, a little video introduction so everybody can see your face. It's just a small little thing. Nothing big. I don't want 100 people in, just something small, Just something for us to encourage each other. And Brother Ola, you too, Brother Ola. It's crazy, and I worry for the sisters because I understand. Whoa! Last I saw was that's Brother Nick. That's where I saw them. They were at Walmart. Brother Nick said they were $12. $9.59, and this is before the harvest has even come in, brothers and sisters. The harvest hasn't even come in yet. I'm interested to see what sweet potato prices are going to be this, the world's Thanksgiving, because I usually buy a lot of sweet potatoes. I take advantage of those Thanksgiving sales. I buy turkeys and I buy sweet potatoes, a lot of them. I take advantage of those sales. I don't think they're going to be like that this year. I remember one sale I found sweet potatoes. They were selling them for it was 19 cents a pound. You can imagine how many pounds I bought. You can imagine. Right, eggs have gone up. We're restocking rice this month. Just opened a bucket for 2016, and it is fine. Put back rice, brothers and sisters. Put back rice. Right now, I'm looking at probably 350 pounds of rice right behind me, right behind the camera, and we get it from Sam's Club. Yes, Monimika, it was at Walmart. But Bizman said it. When the harvest comes in and they realize how bad it is, so will the new prices. And you think that what we're seeing right now is terrible. Wow, potatoes are $5.85 Instacart and $3.99 at Target. Smart Shopping still has sweet potatoes in the ground. I have never grown sweet potatoes, Mother Kate. I am looking forward to it. That is one thing I will be adding. I am clearing out another area, and I'm putting sweet potatoes over there. I've seen 8-pound bags. The 8-pound? We had 10-pound bags. I didn't check the poundage. I just assumed they were 10 because I usually bought 10. And then the 5-pound bags have gone up to over $5. That's over $1 a pound for potatoes. Over $1 a pound for potatoes. And this is what my concern is that a lot of people, and people think, well, I make good money right now. Making good money doesn't mean the money is going to spend the way it used to. You can make good money, but when everything that you buy, I went to the doggone store today and got a cart. Mind you, I took my son with me, and he was sitting in the baby part of the cart. So I didn't get to fill that thing up either. It was just the cart section, not even the rack underneath the cart. And I paid over $300. $300. And I had to check myself out. Thank you, Mother Kate. I got them to sprout by laying them in a pan of water. I'm going to do that. Overbush, Shabbat Shalom. One thing that I am taking advantage of over this next month, Bizman, is we have a local auction out here, and there's a lot of people selling sheep right now. A lot of people are selling sheep. So I told the family, be ready to butcher, because I'm going to go to the auction and pick up some of these oversized, large sheep, and I'm going to bring them home, and we're going to butcher them, and we're going to put that meat in the freezer. Because, I mean, people say, like, you know, the beef prices are skyrocketing. The pork prices are skyrocketing. Now, obviously, I keep the law. I don't eat pork. But pork prices and people not buying it does play a very significant role if you're a person that eats chicken. He's out here with you. Right, fearmonger. Right. I had to check out my own stuff and bag it and still pay $300. Right. I have Alexa Foster. Right. Right. You go. I'm just like, are you kidding me? I had to pay that price and bag my own stuff. But as people buy pork, as people aren't buying pork and beef anymore because they're being priced out, they're turning to chicken. And a lot of people that rely on the grocery store for chicken are not able to buy chicken anymore because that protein, that price for that protein is skyrocketing. We just had a cow butchered. Freezers are full. That's what I'm going at. Ground mutton made, and the sausage is awesome. Brother Jay Morris, we're going to be, most of it is going to be ground. I love ground anything. I grind my chicken. When we harvest our own chickens, I grind it. Oh, $14 a pound for beef. 3 chicken breasts, $14. Palmetto Paratrooper. I've had a lot of people ask me that question. I even thought about it. Now, here's what I will say. The Bible says the carcass of the animal we are not to touch. So if you are raising a pig, you're not responsible for what a person buys it for. The same way if I raise a horse. If I raise a horse and I sell it and somebody takes the horse and butchers it and eats it, that's none of my business. That's none of my business. In fact, it's their business. So if I'm raising the animal, that's right. If it's not dead, it's not a carcass. So, I mean, if I raise a dog and sell it, and somebody takes the dog and butchers it and eats it, is that any of my business? I don't see it. I don't see it. So if you raise a pig and you sell it, just like if you raise rabbits, if you raise rabbits and sell the rabbits, and somebody buys a rabbit and eats it, you didn't break the Torah. You didn't break the law. They did. I mean, essentially, you know, I know, like when I worked at Burger King in my younger years when I was just out of high school, You know, you making the Whoppers and you put the bacon on it. That's technically the carcass of the pig. But from what I read in the Bible, it's the carcass of the animal that's a sin. What other uses are there for pigs then? Pigs are great at cleaning up. There it is. Brother Tim said pigs are excellent garbage disposals. Excellent garbage disposal. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. That's right. They do. I believe that pigs have a very valuable place, especially on the homestead. Especially on the homestead. And people say, well, you know, you're raising it and you're selling it as food. I'm just selling it. What the person does with it is none of my business. Now, I don't raise pigs either. I don't have pigs, never had pigs, but I like to stick with what the law says. And the law does not say that raising a pig and selling is a sin. It's unclean for you as a food. The same way rabbits are. The same way squirrels are. You can have a rat farm and sell them. That's a good question. You know, why raise them if you're not going to eat them, but you can sell them? You can sell them. And the Torah has things in it where, like, if a animal dies, you can give it away. There it is. Brother Minor Yeshua said it right there. Deuteronomy 14:21. Ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is within thy gates, that he may eat it, or thou mayest sell it unto an alien, for thou art a holy people unto Yahweh the Elohim. Thou shalt not see the kid in its mother's milk. So what a person does with it is their business. That's right. There are plants you should grow to help the plants you will eat, but you're not eating those plants themselves. Same with the pig. There are actually poisonous plants that are actually good for your garden. You would never eat the poisonous plant, but it'll help the plants that are growing in there. And if you give me a chance, I'll do a video on that. There are plants that you grow to keep predators out of your garden that you wouldn't eat. So pigs, the touching of their carcass is unclean. So as long as you had a way to just, now again, I ain't gonna do it, but it's an idea. Oh, Sister Amanda said, I mean, where did the pigs come that Yeshua cast the demons into? That's a great point. That's an excellent point, actually. I never thought about that, sister. I never thought about that. That's right, Brother J. Morris. I think eggplant are also part of the nightshade family also. Eggplant. Like, I do plan on raising rabbits here. Why? Because my dog eat rat. My dogs are going to eat the rabbits. Oh, and the cats. That's right. My daughter said, and the cats. And the cats. Now, do I plan on eating the rabbits? No. But, I mean, let's just be honest. Most of us, let's just be real, okay? Most of us have dogs. Did you not know that in a lot of dog food, there is pig byproducts in it, ground up? There's a lot of pig byproducts. If you go to your local grocery store and you buy like Pedigree or Old Roy, you know, your typical 50-pound bag from your big box store, there's pig in it. There's pig in it. I'm just saying. The people who had those pigs were in disobedience. That's one reason Yeshua went there. I believe Mother Kate may be onto something. That's right. Amani Israel said, and shellfish is in cat food. Thank you. That's right. Shellfish is in cat food. So a lot of the foods that you actually give to your animals are actually unclean. Your dogs, your cats, they're actually unclean. Now, the sad fact is that I read an article that people, that's right, dogs are unclean too, but when I'm eating them, they serve a purpose on your homestead. It's an unclean animal. You're not going to eat it. You're not looking at your Doberman picture like, that's going to be some good dog legs. No. You have it for a purpose. And that's really one of the issues that I see with people and animals is some people treat their animals like their family. Yes, if I'm looking at you. It's an unclean animal. That dog licked its ass and then licked you in the face. You ain't got a problem with that? I'm just saying. So that's just an idea to get your mind. We have dogs on our homesteads. People have rabbits on their homesteads to feed their dogs. Why couldn't you raise a pig to feed your dog? Are animals unclean to be in the house? As a I can't think of a verse that would touch on that. But here's the reason why. Because I don't think people had unclean animals in their house. I don't think people had their dog, running around their bedroom or sleeping next to their dog in the bed. I'm just going to be honest from my position. When people sleep with their dog in the bed, I think you're getting close to bestiality. That's just my honest opinion. When you're letting your dog lick you in the mouth and my animals are all outside. My dogs are all outside. My cats are outside. They're all outside. If they come in, I'm chasing it with a broom. And usually they come in because they sneak in. Those things be like Inspector Gadget. Right. I don't allow animals in the house, but it has nothing to do with the Bible. That's exactly. I don't see a law that says you can't have your dog in the house. There's no law. For me, that's why I said it's for me. This is my opinion. This is what I do for my household. It is not a law for anybody else's household. It is for me and my household. But I'm just not going to have an animal in my house. I won't do it. I love my puppy, but not like that. We had actually animals born out here. That's right. My animals are for my security. They have their purpose. I feed them, and I have them for preservation, to help keep the homestead intact. My cats, they're here to keep the mice, and field rat, or those what do they call them? Pack rats. Gosh. They keep that population down. But in the law, do I see anything in the Bible that says, thou shalt not have thy dog in the house? No. That's what I'm saying. This is my preference. My preference for my homestead in my house. It is not a law. There you go. So if you have your animals in the inside of the house, don't say, Brother Chris said that's against the law. I didn't say that because it's not. I don't read that in the book. Cats love mine like to sit outside my front door. That's where mine sit. And then they follow us everywhere we go, including the chicken coop. They'll go into the chicken coop, run around the chicken coop with the chickens, and then come out. Unless you're not looking. You're not looking, they eat them. Oh yeah, they get chased. Oh yeah, the roosters will chase our roosters will chase our kittens. Make sure they don't harm. Brother Palmetto Paratrooper, that's where I am. Every animal has a purpose. We need only to understand their purpose and apply them appropriately. Like Bear Independence in his video today, he doesn't use his animals for what do they call that? Like to make you feel better, emotional, what do they call that? Emotional support. My animals are not emotional support. I do not ever look at give me one of those. Give me one. Thank you. I don't ever say, I'm lonely. I'm so lonely. I need a friend. Hey, chicken nugget. Hey, I need a friend. Will you be my friend? Will you be my friend? Thank you. The only reason that they're in the house is because they're not big enough right now to put in a chicken coop. And the night temperatures have gotten them a little bit low, so it's a little bit warmer right now. What do I do as soon as we have a cage in our large chicken coop run where we put our baby chickens in there once they get old enough. They're almost old enough. What do I do as soon as they get old enough? I kick them out as soon as they get old enough. In fact, if they're close to being old enough, they're booted out. That chicken nugget's pretty well behaved. Yes, I was gonna say, Sister Amanda, they would bring their sheep and their goats in from the field. They would have a room set aside in their house where they would actually bring their animals into their house to get out of the cold. That is the truth. Yep. That was just, just a little bit. But remember, Yah's ways are not our ways and his thoughts are not our thoughts. So we have to be aware of that when we go through this life. We have to understand, just because somebody else is doing it or saying, it doesn't mean that's what Yah wants to be done. And I say that to us brothers and sisters because there's a lot of things that we do as people that we try to attach Yah's name to it as if he wants it done. That's not his way. If you want to see if it's his way, see how you're living, see if that lines up with how we live. If you ever have a question about it, I've had sisters ask me, talking about being covered, and I asked them, look at the way you're living right now. Just a question. Does it line up with how we see the women of the book live? That's a yes or no question. Well, I just don't trust these brothers. I get it. I absolutely get it. That's right. That's right, Mother Kate. That's it. Look at what the book says. Look at the examples of the book and ask yourself that, brothers, look at the examples of the book and apply it. That's it. Brother Daryl. Okay, a pair that talks is kind of cool. I admit that. If Polly wants a cracker, guess what I'm giving him?
Cracker.
A cracker. I have a question. Would you like to be a pepper too?
Like
A pepper too? Family joke. Family joke. Family joke. It's a family joke. So always look at your life and ask yourself what you're living, is it line up with the book? If not, now the real questions start. How do you get your life to line up with the book? That's the question. I got another verse. See, when I looked at my life, hold on. When I looked at my life, when I was living, I asked myself, does it line up truly with what the Bible, with what our ancients did? Did it line up with what they did? Now, if you are keeping the law and you choose not to do it that way, that's cool. But for my life, I said, does it line up with what they did? Jeremiah chapter 29. Jeremiah 29. Verse 5. That's Palmetto Paratrooper. That's what I was coming up with. Palmetto, that's so deep. I asked myself many times if my life lines up with the book. The answer has never been yes, but it gets closer to yes every time I ask. That was what I came up with. Was I keep asking myself, does my life line up with the book? And my answer continues to be no. Mother Kay said, had an issue come up where a sister had been taught by her church to evangelize everyone with Christ's love. Where in the word does it say, woman, go out evangelize? Mother, this is why we need our mothers. This is why, I asked Mother Kate permission well over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Can I call you mother? Because the stuff that you say is what the Bible says the mothers are supposed to be teaching the younger women. The Bible doesn't say anywhere women go out and evangelize, win souls. You don't see that anywhere in the book. And you don't see that practice in the book. That's a modern thing. So we have to ask ourselves the questions, then why do so many want to evangelize and have a YouTube channel where they preach the word and they lead studies and why? That you weren't even created in the beginning for that purpose. Never. But that confusion is taught because people go to church and church teaches them things. Church teaches them all these different things that are not in the book. And my question just is, can we get back? Did you ever realize or ever think that your life would just be better if you just did what the book said? I found that out firsthand. My life has been so much better when I literally strove for my ways to be his ways. Now, I don't know what my thoughts. I try, but I don't know what he thinks. But I can see, well, we see what he said about what he thinks, and we see about his ways. So why not line ourselves up with that, brothers and sisters, instead of what our pastor said, what our deacon said, what our let's just go what the book says. Did Yeshua send out a pair of women to spread the word, or did he send men? He sent men. He sent men. That's who he sent. And then Mother Elaine, another mother who's saying the same and has said the same thing that Mother Kate has said. Mother Priscilla, the same thing. Mother Elaine said, then they wonder why they can't find a man. No man wants a woman who feels she's above him. I don't want to get into a Bible bee with my wife or wives. I don't want to have to tell them something. Hey, we're doing this. Well, the Holy Spirit revealed to me through this dream that, oh, shit, no. No. Stop. They confuse prophesying with preaching. Yes. Yes. The man is the head of the house. And because a lot of women won't submit to a man, they're submitting themselves to their own religious thoughts. Men, because you're too busy submitting to your pastor and not Yeshua, you're submitting to your own religious thoughts. I have a question. Are women to be baptized? And are there such examples in the Bible or even a law regarding such a thing? That's an excellent question, brother. Now, I have baptized Sister Tanisha and Sister Ebony. And Sister Taylor's is coming soon. Hers and my oldest daughter's is coming soon. But you know what? Before I even go there, let me. Yeah, you baptized. I'll say this. My opinion, an initial answer is yes. But let me just tell you, that opinion and initial answer is based on previous thoughts. But I am a person, and I thank you for that, Hebrew Rapaholic. I thank you for that question. That's right. That was the example I was thinking about, Mother Elaine. I was trying to get there. Mother Elaine said the jail keeper's entire family was baptized. And when I read that, I read the entire family. That was the example I was trying to figure it out. So according to what Mother Elaine and then what Mother Kay said, I think any believer gets baptized after they believe the word and in Yeshua. And then Sister Priscilla, I thought about that one, but I heard one person, their opinion, say the multitude was men. And I never went in, Mother Priscilla, I never went in and did enough study on that. But I am going to do something. That's what I'm going to study that this week. No. So my initial reaction and initial thought still is, yeah. Brother Darrell said, I think Cornelius' whole house is baptized. The Satirians family. So yes, I do believe, based on these examples, thank you, everybody. Thank you for your answer. I do believe women were to be baptized. I do. I do. That was an excellent question, though, brother. Because I actually thought about that question probably 6 to 8 months ago. Maybe close to a year ago. I thought about it. Because, you didn't read an example where, and Joanne was baptized. But you do see, because you remember, biblically, whenever it referenced women, it oftentimes referenced them as part of her husband's house. Unless the story specifically pertained to her, like Sarah or Rebecca or Rachel and Leah, when it referenced to a man, it referenced the women by saying "and his house" or his household. And now, Mother Elaine, I agree with that, and y'all seen that I push that hard on this channel. Order, and they don't need some stranger to come do it. That's their husband's job. I'm a firm believer in that. Even though we do see the examples, I'm a firm believer that men, you baptize your own, unless you see a John. You baptize your wives, children, you do it. You as the head of the house do it. Right? Probably not baptized by their shepherd Devo. Probably not that. Oh gosh. Debo. Jeremiah 29:5. This is for us, brothers. We'll start verse 4. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Yah of Israel, to all the exiles whom I have sent into the exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Build houses and live in them. Plant gardens and eat what they produce. Take wives and have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there and do not decrease. And I'm going to stop there. Read the rest to keep it in context, please. But I think that's very important because we were again instructed to multiply and not decrease. Even in the captivity of Babylon, they were instructed to multiply. I hear people say all the time, polygyny is not for captivity. I have yet to see an instruction in this Bible. And it's not just polygyny, but this is just all forms of marriage, biblical marriage. I have yet to see an instruction in which the Bible says to decrease. And thus saith Yah to Israel, decrease. Do not multiply. What I see is he's saying, build houses. You have to have land. The foundation of a man and his family, them multiplying, was what? Brother Jay, the foundation of a man and his family multiplying was what? Are you okay? Somebody answer that question. Wait for an answer. Come on, brothers. Sister Cassie. So I was not impressed. Nation building, that's a great point. Nation building. But in order to build an effective nation, Mother Priscilla, what must a man usually own so that he can actually spread himself? Because are you going to effectively nation build in an apartment? Are you going to effectively nation build in a... There it is, Mother. There it is, Brother Anthony, Brother Jay, and Mother Priscilla. Land. That's why if you read this verse, build houses and live in them. Where? That's right, mind of Yahshua. That's right. Brother Nick said it. Land. Brother Daryl said it. Land and housing, land and a home. That's right, Sister Aspen. And not living in mama's basement or living on another man's land, because all you're doing, he's multiplying. You're not multiplying. Even the children of Israel in captivity had Goshen. They still had in their slavery a land that was called theirs. But Hebrew Rapaholic, I thank you, brother, because that's a question that I had asked and I never actually went and studied it. So I thank you, my brother. I thank you. That's right, Brother Jay Morris. Our honor, not living in mama's basement or pastor's apartment. Y'all are crazy. Look at what Jeremiah said. He said, verse 5, build houses and live in them. Plant gardens. Again, we're talking about land. The fundamental part of this is you're owning a piece of land to build your own house and to plant gardens and eat from the gardens. Take wives and have sons and daughters. It didn't say beg your pastor for a wife. He told you, men, go take them. Because remember, the fundamental beginning of all this is nation building, building a nation. What you're seeing today in today's society is you're seeing people that are nation killers. They don't want to actually be part of any sort of building. When I read this book, I constantly see building. You're building the kingdom of Yah. You're building your family, men. You're building each other up. Brothers building up our brothers. Sisters, you're building up other sisters. I see it's a constant building. Older mothers, you're teaching the younger ones. You're building them up. Men, you're teaching the younger men. You're building them up. Pastor cinder block cells art. Oh gosh, Sister Aspen. You're cracking me up right now. Oh wait, brother. I got a message. Thank you, Brother Tim. Thank you, Brother Tim. Thank you. Brother Tim Lindley, my brother, sent me a message. Acts chapter 8, verse 12. Here's a thank you, Brother Tim. Acts chapter 8, verse 12. This is about baptism. So, Hebrew Rapaholic is an opportunity for me and you both get the opportunity to learn right here. Acts chapter 8, verse 12 says, and when they believed Philip, who was proclaiming the good news about the kingdom of Yah and the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, they were baptized, both men and women. That's Acts chapter 8, verse 12. Brother Tim, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Again, let me put that in the chat. Let me put that in the chat if I can actually get to the chat, which I can't get to the chat. It's on my phone. Thank you, Brother Tim. I just had my question answered. There we go. Acts chapter 8, verse 12. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I am thankful for that answer. So, and there it actually says women. So, that's perfect. That's perfect. Again, thank you, Brother Tim. Thank you. Thank you. Man, so I told you everything you could ask a question about, it's answered in the book. Down near everything. Yahweh, they only want to be a part of the building that benefits them. You see, when you are talking about building a nation, that's why I kind of laugh when people mention the term nation building, because especially, and sisters, I'm not getting on you when I say this, but especially when y'all mention nation building, because can we be honest? A lot of sisters have contributed to the building of heathen nations. I'm just being real. If you had Pookie and Ray Ray's child, you're building his nation. And if he's not part of Israel, then he's building whatever nation he's part of. The Cushites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanite, whatever ites he is, an Israelite. We'll build those nations. But then when it comes to Israel, we don't want to build that nation. We've learned the ways of the heathen. So when the book says, take wives, that means that as a sister, you're there hoping to be taken as a wife to help build a nation. I'm not referring to this as a black folk nation. I'm talking about nation building, according to what the scripture says. We're not there to build that nation. Have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there and do not decrease. So the whole point is he's talking about is multiply, build, grow. And that's the one area we fail. Now, this is talking about, please stop him. When it comes to the Hebraic people, you do realize that our family numbers are some of the lowest out of all the people. One of the lowest numbers of family, of children born inside of a family is the Hebraic people. We haven't built a nation. And now we have Israel as a whole that includes all of us, all the branches, all the peoples. And we still have some of the worst families ever. The most destructive household. Women worshiping their pastors. No order. No family. From what I have seen, there are more single women per capita in the faith than there is in the world. Women in the world say, I want to get married. Women in the faith say, I'm married to Yah. That's right. Grow in Yah's ways, not the social norm. Fearmonger, Truth Unedited, last week, his 2 videos he did, he killed it. If you're not subscribed to Truth Unedited, that brother killed it. It was, last week's videos were specifically to men. Bless you, Monamika. Shabbat Shalom. His videos yesterday were specifically to men, and he killed it. That's one of the few brothers that I listen to. One of the few men that I actually listen to. Truth Unedited is one of them. Fearmonger, you are right. And if you don't know who he is, that's his name right there. Truth Unedited. Whoa. So all these things are told to us as men, and effectively, a lot of us men have not. Those of us that are building, we're realizing that a lot of people don't want to build. I mean, as a man, how many times do you try to talk to another man about building and he's just kind of content where he is and what he's doing? Man, Brother Mark Chase. Women in the world really want a wedding, not a marriage, but a marriage, not so much. And this is being honest. Women today in today's world would rather be concealed than covered. They just want to be hidden. But they don't want to be covered. Even 400 years of bondage in Egypt didn't stop Israel from multiplying. It only slowed it down temporarily. Yes. Bizman, yes, that brother's channel is off the chain. Off the chain. Love his channel. And he tells the truth. If he's talked about the metaverse, he's talked about Facebook, he's talked about, he knows his economic information. Oh man, he knows. He's well studied. I think I talk to my wife about nation building more than I talk to other men about it. So for it's working in my favor. 6 children and 6 kids and cat. Right. Be fruitful and multiply. He said in Jeremiah 29, you give your sons to marriage that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there, and look, it's a command. Do not decrease. Do not decrease. And you see right now there's a whole plan in this world to reduce the amount of people. Oh, you can also say women want to be married, but not someone's wife. Oh, that's good. And Brother Anthony said, sure seems like building never stops here. We should be about building. As men, building should be in the forefront of our mind. The moment we stop building is the moment we stop going forward. Sure seems if we can just stop this scattered issue, brother. If we could stop the scattering issue, and if we could just all go to the true shepherd, Messiah, none of this would even be a problem. If people just read the book and went by what it said instead of going off our feelings and emotions and our previous hurts and what we went through back in 1704, and we could be something powerful as a group, as Israel, homeborn, stranger, united as one. We could be powerful. Oh, Sister Taylor said something. I didn't even see your comment. A covering can be too restrictive for an independent-minded woman. Uh-oh. Where'd you learn all this stuff? Uh-oh. You said her secret. Woo! She got a little secret. A covering can be too restrictive for an independent-minded woman. Weren't you independent-minded? You don't think so? You're just waiting to be covered? Oh, okay. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? Concealment allows a little cover with room to move and enough rope to hang yourself. And she used my comment. I told Tanisha, I told Ebony, in my life, I love Yah's law. Because if you give me enough rope to hang myself, I will. If you give me enough rope to hang myself, I will find a way to hang myself. I'm that dude, and I'm talking about metaphorically, so no, I'm not a 5150. Damn it. I'm talking metaphorically. I love Yah's law. I love Yah's restrictions in his law. I love it. Because if you give me a shoelace, you're going to come and find me dangling up in my jail cell. Bed sheets, can't give me bed sheets. I'll tear that shit into strips and be hanging. I thank the Father that he has a law and that his law is so restrictive. I thank Yah that it's so restrictive. I thank Yah that he says, hey, you can't sleep with this person. Don't go there. Don't eat this. Don't eat that. But you can't eat this and this. This day is my day. Rest. Look upon the things that you have done. I learned this from Brother A. Look upon the things that you have done. Brought that with remember Yah on the seventh day. What did he do? Can somebody tell me what Yah did on the seventh day? Can somebody tell me? And I learned this from my brother of mine. I did not come up with this. Brother Alex. He said something very powerful. We were having a conversation one day. Can somebody tell me what Yah did on the seventh day? Okay, let's go there. He rested from all his labor. There it is, Brother J. Morris. There it is. That's what he did. And I've never thought about that. That's exactly it. Mind of Yeshua. There it is. He observed what he did and saw that what he had done in those 6 days was good. See, I've always taken the Sabbath that you just rest. But how many of us actually look at the week and say, man, Yah bless me to get through the week. And you look at your week and say, man, my week was good. I've never, when he said that, there was another one of those, when Mark Chase said concealment and cover. It was one of those explosions in the brain like, wow. How many of us look and see that our 6 days of work were profitable? It was good. That was powerful to me. And I thank him for saying that because it helped me look at the Sabbath a whole nother way. Yah looked at what he had created and saw that it was good. See, Brother Nick, I've never done that. I've never looked at what I've done during the week and saw it was good. Hebrew Rapaholic, that's really what I meant, is that the things that he removed from me are the things that I didn't want to do anyways. So by actually placing a fence around me, some people call it restriction and Bible thumper and all that. In reality, he set me free. He set me free from all the other things that were binding upon me. All the other cares and worries that were not his will, that were not part of his law. He's like, listen, you can do that, brother. All things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. And I realized I don't have to kill myself anymore. I actually, because there's a lot of those moral arguments you have. It's like, well, should I really be doing this or should I not be doing this? And that to me was burdensome. Should I be doing this or should I not be doing this? And you go to this book, and well, he didn't say don't do it. So it's not against the law. Oh. That's right. Brother Darrell, he said that it was good. It was very good. That's one of the few things I had ever, and I thank the brother for it because that was deep. He was rapaholic, yes. Yes. I am thankful to be free. Romans 8:2. The law of the Spirit of Christ has made us free from the law of sin and death. Yah's law actually made me free from death. Yah's law actually provided something that my life never had. Structure. Oh, Sister Aspen English said it. Yep, there's freedom in his structure and commandments. I was just saying that. He provided a structure for me that I had never had. It was just so plain. You can do this. Don't do this. You can eat this. Don't eat this. You know, you want a wife? There you go. Be fruitful and multiply. Don't steal. Don't cheat. Don't lie. You know, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Make sure you labor 6 days. So all those other things in my mind was just, I wonder if I can do this. I wonder if I can't do this. Like you ask, like traditional, westernized, non-Sabbath keeping, non-law keeping Christians, well, what is sin? And I'm like, that shit sounds so oppressive because you have no clue from day to day whether you're in sin or not. You ask them, what is sin? Just don't do what's wrong. What the hell does that mean? What does it mean don't do wrong? You know, just do the things that make y'all happy. Well, what are those things? You know, the good things. That's like your wife coming to you and asking you, baby, what can I do to make you happy? You're like, the good things, baby. Yes, but baby, what is that? I want to make you happy. Just do the things that are good, that make me happy. Oh, I don't know what makes you happy. How many women, how many you sisters, with your husband's permission, how many of you would like that as an answer? If you asked your husband, what can I do to make you happy? Just do the things that, that make me happy. Would that be a sufficient answer? Or wouldn't you like him to be able to tell you what it is that he actually wants? Mother Priscilla said peace. I remember talking with them, especially, before Taylor got here with Ebony and Tanisha. And I answered the question like that one time. I was like, just do the things that I like. What do you like? You know what I mean? The things that I like. The things that make me happy. And I realized I never actually told them what made me happy. So they're guessing. But I realized I was giving that answer like, I never actually told them what made me happy. So there actually wasn't something for them to go off of. I'm basically leaving them to their own interpretations of my thoughts and my walk and my looks on my face instead of just being able to tell them, hey, this is what makes me. But the problem I realize is, for a lot of us, we don't actually know what makes us happy. I mean, now I do. But it's a terrible thing. You don't even know what makes you happy. But the case said, gotta have a servant's heart to join the body. It's hard to be humble and not just be all about ourselves. It has to be, somebody has to be a toenail. That's right. This is right. Hebrew Rapaholic said, this is giving me more to think about regarding the Shabbat. Looking back at the work, and the law is truly a light. True freedom is only in order. Yes. And it's like, it's amazing because, like, for myself, I told you all that I had a problem on Shabbat of thinking about what I need to get accomplished the next day, on first day. So I couldn't even really enjoy the Shabbat for years because I'm always like, okay, when Shabbat ends, I'm going to go outside, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And now it's like, wait a minute. If I look back at the work and it was good, I wouldn't have to look at it and say, I can't wait to start working again because I already know what I did was good. So why not bask in his rest? Enjoy his rest and his peace. As Mother Priscilla said, enjoy his peace. I did good. What I realized is that when I knew I didn't work hard enough, when I knew I was failing in my work ethic, I concerned myself with work. I concerned myself with what I had to do after Shabbat. I couldn't enjoy his rest because I knew there was a deficiency inside of me where I only really worked 3.5 days or 4 days, where you think I put in a 40-hour work week. When I came out here into the rock and I was working at the hospital and then coming and working on the land, I found peace. I found peace. Oh, that is it right there. I can't tell you how many times Mother Kate I have said that it makes sense. I tell them, there's no way I can fall away from the Most High because his law is really one of the few things in my life that have ever made sense. It is really the only thing, I oftentimes tell them, for me, my life is not about finding what's worth dying for. It's finding what is worth living for. People are saying, well, I'll die for this, I'll die for that. I'm like, well, what will I live for, though? What will I live for? His law. Yeshua. Yeshua died so that I may live. He didn't die so I can go die. I mean, yeah, died in his sin, but he didn't die so you can just go off and die too. He died so that you could kill off the flesh, the carnal-minded sin nature, but have life and have life more abundantly. I spent my whole time people telling me you should die for a color. You should die for your family. You should die for this and die for that and die. I never spent time figuring out, what am I living for? It felt like for a large portion of my life, I'm just walking around trying to find a way to kill myself. Instead of walking around and being thankful for the gift of life. Now I have figured out this shit is not about finding something to die for. Sin is death. Why am I fascinated with dying? Sin is death. Sin is curses. Sin is everything that destroys. Yeshua gave us life. That's why he died. So why don't I focus more on living? And if that time of death comes, it's going to come, whether I like it or not. From the time that I'm born, the expiration on my can is there. And Mother Lynn said, yes, it took a long time to learn that lesson. She was a biker. There's that code. Yah's law is life. Yeshua is life. Yah created the heavens and the earth and made everything so perfect for life. Death came because of sin. So whether or not I want to die, unless I'm alive when he comes, I'm going to die. So why not focus on the living portion and not the dying portion? Hebrew Rapaholic said, looking back at the work is powerful. I am really thinking about it right now. It is very powerful. And the most powerful thing about the law is that it makes so much sense. So much sense. Brother, it does. And I didn't think about that. My brother Alex said it to me. Well, said it to a couple of us brothers. And it just hit me. I was just like, oh. Whoa. Y'all have been eating me up with some of these deep things and this is why I love this chat. I love the ability for us to share, is because it gives us an opportunity to strengthen each other as brothers and sisters. it gives us something to, it humbles me to hear some of these things, and then I get to go, because this is a humbling time for me. But every time I step behind this camera, I'm humbled, not because everyone came and listened, but because some of y'all say stuff that I'm like, see, iron truly sharpens iron. This is not a place to puff myself up. This is a place for us to share, because I have gotten so many great ideas, so many things to study. We just got the baptism question answered that I asked 8-9 months ago from a brother Tim. Now, where would that have come from? Man, Yah Sunrise said, there's a saying, all men die, but not all men live. Not all men live. And that's the truth. We all are going to die, brothers and sisters, but not all of us are living. Not all of us are living. Many are just walking corpses, and I hate saying that. They are the walking dead. There are so many people today that are the walking dead physically, and then we have a ton that are the walking dead spiritually. We have a ton of walking dead people. Their only mission in life is to go around and consume what is not theirs. The structure is perfect for people. Follow it, and life is good. It truly is. The moment I finally said, I'm not going to do things my way, Father, I'm going to do it your way. You show me, and there's times you may have to beat me a little bit. I get it. I accept that. I love your chastening, because that means, one, you care about me, and it means, two, that I'm yours. You don't chasten who you don't love. So I understand. I'm going to have to receive some of this chastening. I understand that. I get it. But at the same time, I know your chastening is to build me up. Your chastening is for deliverance. That's my deliverance. The same way children get their spankings and they get delivered, the rod of correction delivers them. The rod of correction delivers me as his son. I get it. And I'm thankful for, how you say, thank you when you do your grit teeth. Thank you, Father. I get that too. We had to grow up and learn to love life quickly with our daughter's help, hanging on by a thread. It's brought us closer, even knowing her life is shortened. Love your baby. Wow. Love your children. Wow. Hallelujah. Let the dead, let the dead bury the dead. These fellowships are powerful. These times are powerful. Understand, in these times that are coming, you are truly going to reap what you've sown. Many are going to find out whether they've just been concealed or covered. And it's not going to be a YouTube video. It's not going to be a Facebook post. It's going to be the reality of your life. Your life will show whether you were just concealed or whether you were truly covered. Your life is going to show you what you've been sowing, your past and your past, because you are going to reap that. The Bible says seed time and harvest. Whatever you plant is what you will harvest. What are you planting? What have you planted? Are you planting this book inside of you? If the answer is yes, wow. Brother Anthony Jensen said, our daughter's health is the reason we moved from our last homestead to this one. Wow. Wow. And brother, I hope your daughter's health is getting better and better and better. Sister Aspen, I hope your daughter's health gets better and better. I hope Yah's will is done. Let me say that. I hope Yah's will is, wow. She almost died at 6 months old. Wow. And is she doing what well now, Brother Anthony? Because I sure hope she is. life is very finite. You're gonna spend it serving some God. I want to make sure it's the right one. You may want to make sure that your ways line up with his ways and your thoughts line up with his thoughts. You want to make sure your life lines up with his life. That's right, Brother Darrell Vick. Covered or concealed will ultimately be revealed. What you were will actually be revealed. All the Bible quoting and the smiling and giving people the impression that life is great, it's not, none of that's going to matter. The revelation will be revealed. And the sad fact is, over these next couple of months and over these next couple of years, people, what you have sown is going to be revealed. You will be revealed whether you were covered or concealed. All that spiritual gibberish is not going to matter when you are reaping what you have sown. You can't spiritualize yourself out of what you have sown. It's just time to reap it now. And here's the question. Next year, 2023, I don't know what today is, August 26th, 365 days from this point, what will you be reaping? What did you sow today? What did you sow in the springtime that you are now harvesting as fall comes? What are you sowing today that you will reap a month from now? What are you sowing today that you'll reap 2 years from now, 3 years from now? When the world's falling apart and gone to shit, and inflation is eating everybody's alive, and people are having a hard time feeding their families, what did you sow today that is going to feed you then, both physically and spiritually? When you get that $10 bill, that $15 in your paycheck, or because you worked an hour, what did you put that $15 to? That's going to reap you something. Because whatever you put that money to, you're going to reap from it. What did you plant it in? Are you producing or are you consuming? Because you need to be a producer in today's time. You got to figure out how to produce. You got to figure out how to turn a seed into a bushel. You need to find out how to turn well, I need to figure out how to turn a sweet potato slip, and I'm going to use what Mother Kate said. You need to figure out how to turn a sweet potato slip into a vine with sweet potatoes on it. You need to figure out how to turn a potato slip into some potatoes, a Jerusalem artichoke into a field. You need to figure out how to turn what you read in this Bible into something productive that is doing, not just, I got my Bible on the shoulder like it's a parrot, something tangible. Like just like today, I follow the markets. Bitcoin got destroyed today. How many people told you to invest? And I'm not a financial advisor. This is just what I think about and talk to myself about. So don't take what I'm saying as financial advice. But how many people are getting their ass kicked today because they invested in cryptocurrencies? How many people? Where are the people now singing the songs of Bitcoin? I'm a Bitcoin millionaire. They sold into, even though, and there are people who've talked about on YouTube tangible assets, who suddenly were talking about cryptocurrencies. I didn't know cryptocurrencies were tangible assets. I thought you said tangible assets, tangible assets, tangible assets. Uh-oh, quick money? Okay, let's do Bitcoin. Let's do XRP. Let's do Doge. Let's do. Now look at it all. Bitcoin was 60 grand. Now what's it at, 20? See, people are not following what they said. And now they're getting their ass eaten. Literally. And that sounds awful. With a steak knife. Get it together. Get it together. Get it together. Time is short. I talked to a doctor friend of mine today, and he said he's about to retire as soon as the hospital enacts the rule that they will not offer medical help to anyone that is not jabbed. And I told him that they made a movie about that with Denzel Washington, When You Push a Man to the Brink. I remember that movie. I remember that movie. You know, brother Nick and sister Aspen and brother Anthony. And this is what I love. This is what I love about the channel. This is what I love about the channel. The fact that y'all are sharing that information amongst the three of you. Brother Nick said you've gone through it, and then sister Aspen and brother Anthony going through it. So I love about the channel. Love it. Bless all three of y'all. Man, I love that. The fact that people can come together under the name of Yeshua and love each other and have sympathy for each other and care truly, because we've either gone through it, we've known someone that's gone through it, and we feel for each other. I love that. The authenticity. Dun said the thing is that they hold onto it thinking they are going to get all this wealth instead of getting your money. Brother, that's the truth. Brother Dun, that's the truth. See, if a person went into it and got out and made some money, hey, that's cool. I ain't mad at that. You got in maybe when it was, Dogecoin was 5 cents. You went, 50,000 in, then sold when it was 20 cents. That's brilliant. Hey, made some quick money and get out. But what happened is people kept saying $100,000 Bitcoin, $200,000 Bitcoin. And I was like, $200,000 for Bitcoin? Doge is going to hit $1. It's going to the moon. And you could have made some money, gotten out, and taken that money that you stole, and I mean literally stole, because I ain't mad at that. You took from the system. You could have went and got yourself some land. Instead, you're still sitting in there waiting for it to hit astronomical. I know exactly what you're saying, Dun. Because I played with Dogecoin a little bit. I played with Dogecoin. But the problem is that when Dogecoin, when they were talking about Elon Musk was on Saturday Night Live, yep. And it went up to what, 70 something cents? Yep. But I waited a little bit too long. But some people were like, $2 Bitcoin. What if Dogecoin? What if Dogecoin hits $5? If you bought in at 5 cents, then you're going to be a multi-millionaire. You just take $1,500 and buy it. I was like, whatever happened to? Never mind. I don't want to get in all that. Paying the dip and all that. I feel you, Dun. I feel you. We're going to reap what we sow, brothers and sisters. So I hope you're sowing something. And that's real. I hope you are sowing something that you will be able to cash out at the. I hope you are sowing something that you will get a return when the reaping comes. Nothing is going to be worse than all the people that we're going to be watching, who have heard this live streams, who you've talked to, who we've talked to, who you've counseled, who we've counseled, who you've prayed with, who I prayed with, who you've read the book with, and I've read the book with, who you've been their watchman and warned them, and I've been the watchman and warned them. And there's nothing going to be worse than for them at the end of it all to still look and say, I have nothing to reap. Brother Anthony, and I do agree with you. I do believe land is a better investment. Bought this place for over $3,000 per acre and don't ever plan on selling. What's the saying? If you can't put your hand on it in 15 minutes, you don't own it. And brothers and sisters, that includes your bank account. Bless you, Brother Jay Morris. Bless you, Mother Kate. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, I'm done. I am done. I want to bless y'all. Have a blessed Shabbat. Thank you all for being here. It's been a blessing. A learning process for myself as well. Thank you for all the answers and the questions. And remember, it's okay to look back at your work and say that it was good. It's okay to look back at your work and say, man, y'all blessed me to get through this week. And the work that I did was good. And you can praise his name and enjoy the rest. Have a blessed Shabbat. Please keep our brothers and sisters in prayer. You know, Sister Aspen's daughter, Brother Anthony's daughter. Please keep them in prayer that Yah's will be done in earth as it is in heaven. And keep each other in prayer also. Times are getting bad, and we just want to make sure that if someone's eyes can be opened up, yes, Brother Anthony, I will do a video on the incubator. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I will. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bless you all. Bye, shalom.